losing, and they definitely want to continue their winning streak. So I think this is going to be a really, really focused Cloud9, but the Golden Guardians are going to have to kind of rise up and see if they can overcome this massive obstacle.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough series then on both sides. Cloud9 not wanting to continue their losing streak from yesterday. Golden Guardians need to win this one if they want to stay or get into the top 4. It's Cloud9, Game 1 versus Golden Guardians.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in here in game number 1. Frozen Orb gets immediately pressed here by Wealthy Man, and we are going to see the classic, the move. Golden Guardians playing that Rogue Shadowfree Shaman. Let's see what they can get done here. Whiskey going for some dots. Whiskey is playing the Panda, so let's go. We got the OG move here. Backs against the wall. They're against the toughest team in the entire region, and they have to win.
Look at
Cubsy. Have a chance of qualifying. Let's see what they can do.
Look at Cubs, he's literally just mailing Peekaboo, just BMing him, just auto-attacking him. Like, doesn't care what he's doing whatsoever. And here's the thing. Oh, Peekaboo! That's going to do it. I mean, Cloak of Shadows is traded out. Big burst damage there by Cloud9, and now the Golden Guardians are going to have to play scared. And here's the thing, okay? When we've seen a team like Golden Guardians bring it to as deep and dampening as you can go and try to go take down Cloud9, it's always against like the Mistweaver monk. I think the Paladin kind of makes that a little bit more difficult with the Blessing of Protection, the Sacrifice, the Divine Shield. You just have these cooldowns, these immunities that making all in, like if your only win condition is just a massive all in, it becomes a lot more difficult. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. We'll definitely have to wait and see, but definitely not a bad start here for the side of Cloud9.
Let's see if they can keep it up here. Sacrifice trades for Cubsy a bit preemptively. Golden Guardians retreat away, having taken a small victory there, getting a major cooldown from Cubsy. And they're still just lobbing in Frostbolts with Wealthy Man on the right and Chanimal on the left. Chaos Bolt and Frostbolt timed together here on Whiskey, who's in Void form, just trying to max out his damage as much as possible. One major downside here for the Golden Guardians is that Shadow Resistance aura for the Paladin counteracts the gushing of the Rogue and it counters the dots of the Shadow Priest. It's a super effective build into the composition that the Golden Guardians have been running, but they're going with their guns here, their main setup, even the Shaman for Avsturge in this particular matchup. So relying on all of their years of experience together with this, even though they're at a disadvantage compositionally. Whiskey is just laying in here, constantly in Void form, trying to max out his damage and potentially have a win condition with Cubsy out of mana. Shaman's definitely strong with mana regeneration, so it could be an option. Peekaboo steps into the fight here, stunning up Wealthy Man. Cubsy gets stunned for a moment into a silence. Wealthy Man trying to stabilize with Polymorphs on Whiskey. Avsturge dispels. Cubsy's charging in. Hammer of Justice to punish the dispel. Peekaboo pre-faints the Hammer of Justice on the dispel. Avsturge stabilizing with Vitality. They blind Cubsy. Cubsy trickets. He goes for another hammer. Is it into another one? Maybe he's going to get a third Hammer of Justice, but Peekaboo pulling back to the pillar. Gets feared. Caught in a blizzard. Trying to make his way out of line of sight. They interrupt Whiskey. Whiskey gets blasted. He's going to line of sight as well as the Golden Guardians continue to bunker down. Actually, just charging back into midfield again. Psyfiend sniped by Chanimal. Wealthy Man gets Dressagath. Again, that Trinket is definitely a win condition. A big crit on that could definitely close out the game and kill Wealthy Man, but Peekaboo's in trouble, trying to run away from Cloud9. Frozen Orb in his way. He's moving so slowly through it. Hammer of Justice down here. They grip Peekaboo. Wealthy Man blinks in aggressively to cast on him around the corner. Chanimal is trying to fish for a Shadow Fury. Whiskey gets counterspelled. Avsturge is just hugging the pillar for dear life. Polymorph lands their Mass Dispel. Are they even going to go for a Mass Dispel? Peekaboo's in trouble. Oh, feared here. No Tremor available. Peekaboo faints. Whiskey gets hit. 2 targets low. Avsturge and a Poly. Danger Town here for Golden Guardians. They're going to use that Quaking Palm on Wealthy Man into a Fear. Everything is oriented at defense here for the Golden Guardians. They're trying to make it deep in the dampening.
Yeah, everybody put on your scuba mask. We are going very, very deep here. You're going to see Chanimal getting kicked up. Potential for a kidney shot here. Avsturge caught up in the Fear, and ooh, they got the Psyfiend right there onto the Chanimal, but it does get killed off. Nicely done by Wealthy Man. Full sheep here onto Avsturge, and now Pika needs to run. He knows he's going to get Hammer of Justice, so beautiful heads up play there by Pika, using his Vanish just to avoid getting stunned. And honestly, I think Cubsy should have actually ran in there on top of Avsturge now and Hammer of Justice Avsturge instead, but they're going to go for the cheap shot onto Cubsy, Gero onto Wealthy Man, into Silence onto Cubsy. Cubsy's going to get dispelled on the Silence. And now Chanimal's going to summon a fell after. Smoke Bomb gets popped. Wealthy Man's going to use his Every Man for himself. The Poro Shield, just waddle out of that one. And Peekaboo once again has to try to make it back to the pillar. And Upsturge, we saw him on the Paladin for majority of their game so far, but today he's going to be on that Shaman, and maybe saw over in Europe Lontar and some of the other Shamans dominating these Lock Mage teams, so maybe he wanted to give it a go. Upsturge definitely one of the absolute best to ever do it on that Shaman. And he has good mana, he's got all of his cooldowns, so not the worst situation here for Golden Guardians after a rocky start here, man.
I noticed Peekaboo's room looks very tidy today, so definitely pay attention to that. Looks like, they are down to business today, taking it extremely serious. It is do or die for them. Double Shadow Fury coming in. Nicely done there by Chanimal, setting up Wealthy Man for a full polymorph. WizK going to be taking a little bit of damage here in this Hammer of Justice. Peekaboo just going to be line of sighting for the time being. Napster is going to have to play catch up. Mana still looking good, but things are kind of unraveling here for the Golden Guardians. They're taking big damage. Full blind out onto Cubsy, immediately trinketing it. Does not want to fall further behind in the match, but I would say as this game goes on, I mean, Cloud9, they're looking good. Wealthy Man going to be soaking up a lot of damage on that Frost Mage, but whenever he wants to, he can just shimmer away, and they can just basically punish Peekaboo. You okay?
Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I just sprained my ankle. Don't mind me. It's all good. Cubsy running in, stunning Peekaboo. WizK getting hit. Chaos Bolt in the sky. After's trying to time a chain heal. Wealthy Man gets stunned up. Peekaboo stabilizing the team by peeling Wealthy Man away with his kidney shot. Kind of like this aerial view. I feel like we don't do this very often. WizK counterspelled at the pillar. Line of sighting. Abstract got spell locked at the same time. The synergy between Chanimal and Wealthy Man is definitely there. Dark Soul available. Chanimal's a big threat. Peekaboo just staying at the pillar, waiting for that deep dampening where anything could happen. This is going to be a real grind for Golden Guardians if they want to pull this off. They're going to have to go into the deepest, darkest corners of dampening against Cloud9 and then pull off a victory with their backs against the wall with the threat like Chanimal and a threat like Wealthy Man. So this is going to be a very tough situation. They can't afford to lose. They're not going to be able to qualify to the BFA finals at this point. So they have to beat their toughest opponent. Wealthy Man is BM blinking right on top of them. Kona cold. Peekaboo tries to prevent the BM by stunning out Wealthy Man, but they don't have enough damage. Only 12% into dampening here against the Holy Paladin as Mage Lock, so they retreat back to the pillar. WizK is going to have to pump. I would love to see his damage at the end of this game because he's basically solo DPSing while Peekaboo tries his best to hit anything against all these snares, polys, and fears.
I kind of want to go back to that Demon Hunter view. Just seeing everyone. I guess it's nice that we get to see Cubsy this way, but I was kind of liking it there. It felt like I was playing like GTA 2 or something. We're going to see Wealthy Man here, Trinket out of the smoke bomb, blink out once again. Peekaboo getting double Shadow Fury on his way out, gets destroyed there by Chaos Bolt from Chanimal. Frozen Orb. I would have liked to see Wealthy Man wait with it because it was pretty obvious they were going to go back to the pillar there, but it's all good. They're going to be getting decent damage here with the Blizzard on one side, Frozen Orb on one side, and once again, Peekaboo just spamming out the throw knives, trying to proc some Gush, trying to keep his poisons up, trying to get some combo points for that kidney. Now he's going to go in. There it is, full kidney, full blind. Cubs is going to trinket. Cubs is going to hodge Peekaboo now, and this could be trouble here if they get something onto Upstairs. That's what Cubs is waiting for, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to find. Actually, did Upstairs ground the hodge right there? Yeah, he did. What a legend.
Legendary plays. Wealthy Man going for a Blizzard out of the Infernal Stun, and once again, they're all going to be rotting down, and this is the difficult matchup for Peekaboo to be in. You can see now he goes for a Shadow Step kidney shot, and look what's going to happen. Wealthy Man is likely just going to shimmer away, and it might be difficult for Peekaboo to get back. Back to the pillar he goes because he doesn't have Sprint, he doesn't have Shadow Step, which means every time he goes for a Shadow Step kidney, if he doesn't immediately kill Wealthy Man, he's just going to be able to shimmer away, and Peekaboo's not going to be able to reconnect. So difficult matchup for Peekaboo to be in. Full Fear now out onto Absurge to actually get his Astral Shift as well. So big defensive cooldowns being forced out by both teams. Shadow Step kidney shot once again onto Wealthy Man. Big Chaos Bolt's going to be landing by Chanimal. Let's see if Wealthy Man's going to be able to escape. Repositioning pillars. Golden Guardians across the map, and they'll be taking a new location. Absurge was stuck in the open just a little bit, but with the life grip coming in from WizK, he's able to drag him to safety. Well, now Cloud9 going to be taking a new wizard position with the Rain of Fire, with the Blizzard, and this matchup is definitely difficult here for the Golden Guardians. If they can pull this off, it would be incredible.
Nothing short of a miracle, really, for the Golden Guardians, but this is the Golden Guardians we know and love when they're just completely, they look like they're totally out of it. They turn it around. I wouldn't even be surprised to see them win every series from this point just to make it into that spot, because they love making their fans sit on the edge of their seat here. But this is a position that Cloud9 is more than comfortable with. Not even 10 minutes in, they're still chilling here against the Golden Guardians. Peekaboo steps in, stuns Chanimal, but he's very low health. Wealthy Man might get a cloak here if he's going after him. Drestigat drops on the Chanimal. Not enough damage to really pull too much. Chanimal going to pull away from the pillar, let Wealthy Man get on point here and do a bunch of damage with that Blizzard. And Cap Totem out in the middle of the map. Bit peculiar, not going to hit anybody. Double Shadow Fury Poly. Beautiful crowd control around the pillar here by Cloud9. Another Polymorph, Mortal Coil, Chaos Bolt in the sky. 2 targets rotting down. Well-timed Vampiric Embrace from WizK. That's going to provide a lot of sustainability here into dampening. And Absurge can hold on to mana as a result. Cubsy has been trinketing these blinds pretty much on cooldown. Really just wants to make sure it lines up, as that is going to be a major crowd control effect later on in the game. WizK, he's moving in. Fears the Warlock. Goes for a stun on the Cubsy. Maybe a Fear on Wealthy Man and a stun on Cubsy right there would have been good, but now their crowd control's over, and Peekaboo's in the middle of the map. They grip Peekaboo back. Absurge saw it coming. He got Vitality Conduit up before the Polymorph, and now Peekaboo immediately retreating back to the pillar. Dampening not high enough. Still too scary to try to go toe-to-toe with Cloud9 in midfield. And Golden Guardians, they hold their defense, but they're on shaky ground.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely the move looking a little stationary in that Blizzard right now behind the pillar. Nice Shadow Fury here by Chanimal. Looking to, once again, you see the Wizard formation. Blizzard on one side, Shadow Fury and Cataclysms on the other side. Cubsy drinking far behind them. And this is the classical C9 checkmate position. You have to go out and stop the drink. If you don't, then you're gonna just rely on winning with pressure and one single all-in and deep dampening onto the Warlock. But Cubsy, WizK gets caught by the Mortal Coil there behind the pillar. Has to trinket out of that one. Actually using his trinket there instead of dispersion. Now, finally, you see some pressure from the Golden Guardians. They go for the disarm into the silence right there, but now Cubs is going to be out of crowd control. Avenging Wrath active, quaking Panda Palm onto Wealthy Man, but I don't think they're going to be able to net any real pressure from that. Ice totem there by Absurge, deflecting some of that damage with that Earthen Wall, but still has to use his Ascendance right there. And I think Wealthy Man actually tried to blink in there for a sheep, but he wasn't able to find it. So Wealthy Man getting interrupted there on the Blizzard, and now he could actually go for a sheep, but no, he's going to go for the Frozen Orb, keep taxing the mana of Absurge. That is the name of the game. And now, once again, Golden Guardians, they have to push out, go for the kidney shot. Chan actually going to be... how did he break out of that? I'm not sure. I think he got maybe bopped right there, and they instantly purged it. And now, once again, here, you're going to see full blind on the Cubsy. He's going to trinket out into a cheap shot. Do they have any follow-up? Crowd control, silence, anything? No, they do have the silence. Wealthman is in a hex. This is a 3-on-1 situation for the Golden Guardians. They get the kidney shot. Where's the smoke bomb? Still on cooldown. Not going to be able to find it. And once again, now, Cubsy in massive... Chanimal in massive trouble. Cubsy's going to have to use something here. He gates to safety. And it looks like just the Divine Favor is going to be enough here. As we see the Golden Guardians, they know they can't chase that gate. They're just going to go back. And this is the point of the game where they're starting to actually get pressure.
Yeah, I mean, 50% dampening. Like you said, we're getting dropped off in the middle of the ocean with how damp this one's going to be. And we shall see. I mean, Golden Guardians, they did have good pressure on Chanimal, but Cubsy, he didn't use Sacrifice. He didn't really use too much. And Chanimal didn't use his Unending Resolve. So they're holding onto those cooldowns unless they absolutely have to use them. And that's the thing. I mean, the thing Cloud9 is doing expertly in this game is Peekaboo, if he wants to connect to a target, he uses Shadow Step. And as soon as that's gone, Wealthy Man's going to be able to reposition with Shimmer, and Peekaboo has no choice but to run away. He can't just waddle in the middle of the map. The same thing goes for Chanimal. If he plays in a position where Peekaboo has to Shadow Step kidney him, then he can just use Gateway, and then all of a sudden Peekaboo has to run away. So these are the things we need to be looking out for in the match. If Peekaboo can have extended uptime on a target, or he doesn't have to Shadow Step to get the kidney shot, I think that's when Golden Guardians is really going to be able to make a play. But at this point, I mean, Absurge holding on with Riptide and Urshield is going to start being a real problem. Almost 55% dampening. Look at Absurge's mana, look at Cubsy's mana. Cooldown's fully rotated back up. Cloud9 has everything in their defensive arsenal to work with, and Absurge is just struggling, falling further and further behind.
I mean, they can't even get close to Cloud9. If they even try to scrape off this, that's a Spirit Link totem. I mean, I guess for the Dark Soul, but Peekaboo wasn't in it. Things are completely falling apart here. If Absurge gets interrupted, it's game over. Astral Shift traits for Absterge. He's critically low. They stun up Wealthy Man. They're desperate to make something happen here. Chain heals come in hot from Absterge. He needs a ton of heals right now to restabilize. No AoE healing for 24 seconds. If he can just hold strong to that Ascendance in 20 seconds, he should be able to pull his team back from the brink, but 17 seconds could be an eternity at 60% dampening here. They've got the cooldowns for the push still, but I don't know if they've got the mana. They're just clinging to the pillar. They step over, but Peekaboo gets blasted. They drop the bomb, but Wealthy Man blinks out of it with a pre-bop, I believe, or pre-sacrifice, immediately escaping that smoke bomb. Going to be no power play there for the side of the Golden Guardians. Ascendance available, thankfully, at least for Absterge, but Blizzard is just ticking around the corner here. Frozen Orb, but they have to make a move. Oh, but they just walk into another blizzard. They can't get to their target. Wealthy Man has managed to be rotted down. He blinks back, and is this going to be it? Is this going to be the move for the move? I feel like if they leave the pillar now, it's going to be the last time they do it. They're pushing in on Wealthy Man. WizK fades in aggressively, goes for the stun. It's do or die here. Peekaboo getting blasted. He's trying to pull away from the fight, but dampening's too high. I don't think there is any pulling away at this point in the game. They're going after Chanimal. Chanimal gates. Cubsy triggers blind. They swap back to Wealthy Man in midfield. WizK pushes for silence, and they are going to try and retreat. There's no Ascendance to recover. Wealthy Man actually blocks there. Maybe WizK was a threat, but one ice block out of the way. Wealthy Man's still not recovered, but Infernals just got called in on top of a Frozen Orb. Peekaboo re-stealths. Peekaboo's sneaking in. He's a man on a mission. He's the man of the year. Is he going to be able to get a win here for Golden Guardians in game one? They are against the wall. Double cap totem by Absterge. WizK moves in. Double psychic scream. It's do or die to take out Wealthy Man. Cubsy bubbles immediately, realizing this is really the only opportunity. Breaks the crowd control. Stuns up Peekaboo. Absterge trinket dispels. Peekaboo desperately trying to make it to his target, but Earthen Wall, he's leaving the defense. He has to cloak. They're pushing for the block. They need a mass dispel on this ice block. And it doesn't look like they have it. They silence Cubsy. Maybe they could kill Cubsy. He's got nothing, but they're trying to run. They're all just dead at the pillar. Oh, and Peekaboo gets sniped out before they could make the final push. And in their darkest hour, Golden Guardians are unable to find victory. Cloud9 take game one.
Ooh, already proving to be a difficult series for Golden Guardians. Cloud9 up 1-0 currently in this best of 5 series, and that just looked rough on the side of Golden Guardians.
A little bit. I mean, most of it was just running away. It's a matter of like when you're going for that push, like how do you do that last little dance? Wealthy Man just had an ice block. Peekaboo's cloak ran out. There's no that Spirit Link earlier in the game though. If they had been able to get away without using Spirit Link and had it, I think they might have won right at the end of the game. So it's that close. I feel like the Golden Guardians can do it, but it's going to be a slog.
So is the strategy then on the side of Golden Guardians, do they need to get the early kill on Cloud9 if they want to have a chance in this series here, Ven?
Well, I feel like, so this is like just looking at the last few moments of this game. Peekaboo, he's able to get in when he connects to Wealthy Man. It's an immediate ice block. I actually think there was one mistake. I talked about it a lot in the game, where Peekaboo's Shadow Step, I feel like, is one of the most important things in the game. Like his mobility gets limited a lot by the Frost Mage, and it's one of the main strengths of the Frost Mage. You can actually kite. I think one mistake we saw Peekaboo do is when they made that final push and Peekaboo was in stealth, he actually opened on Wealthy Man, and then he used his Shadow Step to go get like an off-garrote on Chanimal. It was right before that moment where he was just getting kited. And if he hadn't have done that, I feel like if he had just stuck to his target and then had Shadow Step to get to him after the Shimmer, I think it could have been a different game. I think they could have gotten Ice Block a lot sooner, because Peekaboo actually, after he Shadow Stepped to Chanimal to garrote him, he didn't get back to Wealthy Man until he used his cloak like 20 seconds later. So I just think if they had sort of pooled that mobility and made that push, this definitely looks like they have enough pressure to win the game. But at 70% dampening, is just every mistake just starts adding up so much, and it becomes really, really risky. So I definitely don't think the Golden Guardians are out of it yet, but this strategy is just really risky for them.
So do you want to continue them with playing the comp from game one, do you think?
I think they should run this comp every game, bring it to 70% dampening, and let the chips fall where they may. Like I think that's really their best option, to be honest.
And with their composition on the side of Golden Guardians with Shadow Priest, Rogue, Zico, what begins to happen with them in that 70% dampening range?
Their Shadow Priest finally starts doing damage. No, but like it's the dot pressure. It doesn't actually do anything until you start getting to, you know, that 40-50% dampening. All of a sudden, you know, up until that point, you got Cloud9. They're having the most amount of fun. Golden Guardians, they just have to sit behind the pillar and just try to avoid AoEs. But at that point, Cloud9 actually gets a little scared as well. And the scary thing about Assassination Rogue specifically in dampening is that dampening stacks with the wound poison effect from the Assassination Rogue. So you have even more healing reduction if you have one of those on your team. And obviously Cloud9, they don't, that's their one, if you want to call it a weakness of the Mage Lock, that they don't have that Mortal Strike effect. So in dampening, in really deep dampening, Golden Guardians can basically avoid most of C9's damage and just kill them with, you know, like they can just tunnel Chan, for example, and all of a sudden Wealthy Man is on 20% from maybe, you know, some poisons and some dots from Whiskey. And that's when we see like the original move get kind of, you know, enabled, where they start swapping around and killing everything.
What about Abster switching to the Holy Paladin? Do we like him on the Shaman? Do we think they should continue with him on that healer, or could they maybe switch it up here, CBTs?
I'm trying to think why Paladin wouldn't be better, other than Absterge is just really good at Shaman. I feel like that's literally the only reason. I feel like Paladin should be better. Maybe, I mean, he's way more susceptible to crowd control. Cloud9 might just be able to do kind of like 3-2-1 triple crowd control setups way more easily. So, yeah, I think comfort and disruption. I don't think Abster should switch. Just assessing how they've done so far, I feel like this matchup, Abster should stay on Shaman, but to wait and see here. On the small map, are they still going to play for the dampening strat? They probably have to, but they're taking their time to lock in.
I just saw someone in the chat say, this map is too small, Ven, and I actually do think it is too small. I swear. You actually, against a Frost Mage, I really believe against a Frost Mage, you need a bigger pillar than what Hook Point provides, and only time will tell. The first time I said that, I was right, so we'll see if it happens again. I think the main problem with this map is you are constantly being poked. Like, you don't have a big pillar. The pillars are so small that it's easy for Wealthy Man and Chanimal to get an angle. If you drop a Blizzard, you drop a Frozen Orb, there's no avoiding it. It's going to hit you 100%, and it makes resetting really, really difficult. So I think Golden Guardians, they're not going to... I don't think they're going to make it a 70% dampening in this game. I think if the game's going to end, it's going to be a lot earlier on. And on the smaller map, that is possible, but I just don't think you can dampen as hard on Hook Point as any other map against Mage Lock, especially with how small the pillars are.
So you'd rather see them go on a neutral map, or just not as small of a map as Hook Point then?
It's just, yeah, we use the Goldilocks analogy quite a bit. Can't be too big, can't be too small, it's got to be just perfect. And I think there might have been a better map for them. I don't know. I just think this is a hard match. I don't really like Dalaran. What do I like? What map do I like?
Tigers. You like Tigers. You like.
Tigers could be okay. Yeah.
Maybe Blackrock Cold.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe I like Blackrock Cold.
Why not Mugambala? No, just play in the room. Like wait for.
I like
Mugambala
Mugambala a lot, actually. The best place to play on Mugambala is the stairs. You just play up top and. Yeah, just play up top and you're chilling. If they want to move in, they walk into Triple Fears. It's easy to line of sight. I think more teams need to use Mugambala and how kind of unpredictable the map can be. But we're going to see how Hook Point does work out for the Golden Guardians. Right now, backs against the wall. They are down the first game 0-1, and they need to win this series in this round robin. If they do not win against Cloud9, they are going to be eliminated.
Chanimal looked like he was switching over to an imp there, trying to make sure he can remove crowd control. Singes off the psychic scream, so Chanimal making a little bit of an adaptation there. Peekaboo pressuring Wealthy Man. Cubsy's melee attacking WizK. Cubsy is He's chilling right now in this series. He's having a great time. Just Judgment, Crusader Strike, Peekaboo, really just min-maxing. Even though I feel like it's not going to be of too much consequence at this point in the game. They stun up Peekaboo. WizK's Fear, double Shadow Fury, beautiful combo right here. Another stun for follow-up. Oh, almost going down. Peekaboo trades out the Trinket and the Cloak. It's still not Dark Soul. It's still not Icy Veins, and this is going to get pretty scary for Peekaboo now.
WizK actually trinketed there as well. I'm not sure if he was getting ready to trinket swap there or what's up, but they won't have that. Oh, big hit here onto Wealthy Man with the dress. They got to get sacrificed. Chanimal lobbing out 2 Chaos Balls with the Dark Soul, and it did get grounded. Did it get faint? I'm not sure. Peekaboo didn't take any damage from that. And now he's going to reopen here onto Chanimal. Full kidney shot comes out. Let's see, do they have the damage? Wealthy Man's in a fear. He can't peel the situation. He gets the cross kick there. And Chan is actually playing the port now. So Chan is going to be a little bit more mobile there on that Warlock, but he won't have that Mortal Coil lockdown. And they get a full fear here onto Absturge, but he does have to trinket out of it. And now, checkmate situation coming through. No trinket on WizK, no trinket on Peekaboo, and no cloak. No trinket on Absturge. She's a full ship. If they can get a triple crowd control, they straight up win the game here. He bops the smoke bomb, get the resheep, but I do think WizK will be able to get a void shift here unless they sheep WizK and fear Absturge, and that's exactly what they're doing. But Cubsy not able to find a Hammer of Justice. He gets stopped in his track there by WizK, and you can see what C9 are trying to set up here. They just want to sheep one guy, fear the other, and then stun Peekaboo. They have about 30 more seconds to do it, and then they're going to win the game. You see, Cubsy probably got an ineffable proc here, so he's just using his yep, there it is. Hammer of Justice is going to be back off cooldown any second here, and they're going to have that ready for that next assault here, Ben.
Yeah, definitely. Peekaboo going to stay on target on Chanimal right now. Let's see if he can stay on target. Peekaboo with a big Dressagath and a kidney shot on Chanimal. Hammer of Justice going out onto Peekaboo. Do they have any crowd control on Absurge? Unfortunately not. Chanimal and Wealthy Man is going to be doing some damage here. WizK caught in some crowd control. Polymorph into Polymorph, potentially into a Fear, and doesn't look like he will be Feared just yet. Chanimal creating some space, and keep in mind, he's playing that Demonic Circle, so if Peekaboo is getting a little bit too much pressure, Chanimal can always use that Demonic Circle and try to get away. A good attempt here by the Golden Guardians. They do force out the Trinket Sacrifice, so a little bit of a minor win there by Golden Guardians. Infernals drop down, and now Cloud9 is looking to strike back. The Demonic Circle coming in from Channel. It has his Gateway available as well. One Chaos Bolt lands on Peekaboo. Potentially a second to Shadow Fury. This could be the Cloak of Shadows, but with Absurge in a great position, he does get polymorphed, but I don't think they have enough damage on Peekaboo just yet. The Golden Guardians are going to continue this pain train on Channel.
It's an interesting talent for Channel running the Demonic Circle, realizing it's just a game of keep away from Peekaboo. So if he can manage to utilize it, but right now he's falling behind. Cubsy in a cheap shot, dispels the Divine Favor. Nice snipe by WizK. Stun into Fear. They really need a Fear here, but WizK just can't connect. He silences instead. Peekaboo's in a poly, trying to reconnect. It's not in position. WizK can't get there for the Fear. Avenging Wrath is up. Cubsy should be able to stabilize here. There's no smoke bomb to interrupt his cast. He gets hexed for a moment, but that can be dispelled by Wealthy Man and is immediately. Big heals bombing in off the side by Cubsy. 1 minute away from dampening here on Hook Point. WizK with no Gliders Medallion can't save the team, so definitely a weak link there at the moment. Cubsy gets interrupted, trying to put him behind on the Avenging Wrath, but it's unlikely here as he's going to be praying to Nazoth for a reset on that sacrifice. Chanimal stunned up. WizK's marching, but it's a slow Shadow Priest march with Frost Mage Frost bolting him, and yeah, I don't think he's getting there anytime soon. He's moving forward, but it looks like he's just standing still. Stuns Cubsy. He's there. He's getting there. Look at WizK. Oh, it's silenced. No, there's no way you're getting a Fear off that. It's impossible. And now Cubsy can freely heal, although he doesn't have much cooldowns. Oh, but Chanimal ports. Port's pretty far away from Cubsy. He gets stunned up by Absturge behind the pillar. Peekaboo goes for the sprint to reconnect. We're going to use the Quaking Palm on Cubsy for crowd control. Hex Wealthy Man, 3 versus 1. Not enough damage though. Chanimal should recover. It's Peekaboo who's in trouble.
Yeah, and we got to see Peekaboo full Hammer of Justice here. He drops the smoke bomb. Big kidney shot here on the channel, trying to turn the tides of this fight, but Cubsy is waiting in the wings with his wings out, and he is going to top channel immediately with one swift holy light there with the divine favor. And now once again Cubsy in a blind, gonna trinket out of that immediately here. And Peekaboo is kind of in no man's land here. He does have the earthen wall totems defense, but Chan already ported away from him, and now another hammer of justice. If they get any kind of CC out of that counter spell, they can just take Peekaboo down. He uses the Cloak of Shadow. Absterge was getting ready to drop the Spirit Link totem. If they could just have any more crowd control there, that could have been a massive attempt there, but still a very nice counter spell there, secured by Wealthy Man. Now to get a fear on the Peekaboo, they swap it over to Whiskey. Shadow Fury coming in. Can they get a sheep at the back end of that Shadow Fury? They're looking to set up crowd control and go after Pika. Hammer of Justice still going to be on cooldown for a little bit here for Cubsy, but Nazoth could change that at any moment. Oh my goodness, wait, what? Yeah, no, it was just a judgment. I was like, what? That would have been insane, actually, if it procced, but it was just a judgment, and now big damage on the Peekaboo.
Yeah, big damage on Peekaboo, but he gets topped off. The Ascendance right before the Polymorph. Oh, no! Absurge and Peekaboo would have wondered. Look at their trinkets. Look at them count down at the exact same time. No, Peekaboo and Absurge, what are you doing? They overlapped in a massive way, and that's going to give Cloud9 an opening. Luckily, WizK still has his Gladiator's Medallion. He still has the Void Shift as well, and they're just going for it. Golden Guardians, they want to get some pressure rolling in the match. Channel falling further and further behind. Cubsy caught into some crowd control, 11% dampening. He should be able to top off with this Avenging Wrath. That's going to greatly empower his heals. Huge Divine Favor, Holy Light, Wealthy Man full health, Channel almost full health as well. Sacrifice actually got traded out, so definitely not a bad push there by the Golden Guardians, but the fact that both Absurge and Peekaboo don't have Trinket, and Peekaboo doesn't have Vanish or Cloak of Shadows, Whiskey is going to have to be the hero if Cloud9 can get anything set up.
I mean, Whiskey's just pushing out here, trying to soak damage and get some out himself, but now polymorphed, and Cubsy's trying to drink. Cloud9 are trying to drag this fight on. Whiskey's owning Wealthy Man right now while Cubsy is drinking, though. If they can get an ice block with this, it would be sick. They get the cap totem around the wall. Nice snipe by Absterge, but it overlapped with the silence. So unfortunate. Whiskey's still trying to get in position, maybe for Psychic Scream, gets Cone of Cold. They go for Psychic Horror anyway. Void Form popped. Whiskey trying to lay in here, get some pressure, but Absterge into Poly. Whiskey into Fear. Whiskey trinkets! Now they don't have Trinket Void Shift. That seems really reckless, and they're all crowd controlled at the moment here. Hammer of Justice full Poly. There's no Cloak of Shadows just in time to stabilize here. Golden Guardians only at 18% dampening. We saw it go to 70% in the last game, so they've still got quite a ways in game number 2. And do remember, if they lose this series, they're basically out. Their chances of qualifying to the BFA finals are pretty much nil. There's a lot on the line here, and they face their toughest opponent.
Oh, Quaking Palm on the Cubsy into the silence, but Peekaboo is already in fear. Chanimal is already on the opposite side of the map. Wealthy Man dropping the Nova. Here comes the Infernals. Knock, knock, huffing and puffing. Let's see what they can get done here. Peekaboo taking a fat hit to the face. Chaos Ball's being casted out. It's going to connect. No, Peekaboo actually using the Shadow Meld right there to get a re-stealth. Cheap shots Cubsy. Gets the girl onto Chanimal. Porch the smoke bomb before the kidney. Chan is an absolute legend. He goes for the fear. Dark Soul is popped. Chanimal smells blood in the water. Peekaboo gets feared before he can connect with that subterfuge and garrote him, and now Peekaboo realizes he is in a very dangerous spot. He needs to run for his life. No Cloak of Shadows. He does have his Trinket, and so does Absterge, but Pika has no personal cooldowns. They have the Void Shift if they should need it, and they have Absterge's Spirit Link Totem as well, but Absterge's mana not looking super great in this situation, and so far I would say C9 in terms of cooldown and mana, they're in the lead, but the longer the game goes on, the more scary it will be, because Peekaboo on that road, those dust from the Shadow Priest, they are going to start becoming more and more effective.
Ooh, Peekaboo, he feints a lot of that incoming burst. He gets gripped over. That was nicely done. Really helping Peekaboo out with that mobility. Whiskey gripping him on top of Chanimal for a full kidney shot. Chanimal uses the Demonic Circle to just LOS and get away. And Wealthy Man, look at these snares. Peekaboo in a snare, Whiskey in a snare, Blizzard, Frostbolts. That Frostmage is so abusive against this particular composition. Full Hammer of Justice with a full Polymorph. Peekaboo, this could be the Cloak of Shadows once again. It's up in 1 second, and he is forced to use it. Chanimal getting back to his gateway. Dressagath drops from Peekaboo as well. He does the fadeaway Dressagath, running back to the pillar, trying to get a little bit of extra damage out, but looks like Cubsy should be able to hold on. Absterge behind on mana. And here we go. Peekaboo's pinned at the pillar with Absterge. Absterge actually using his Trinket. And now into a full hammer of justice. Cloud9, they smell blood in the water. They're pushing in. They want to try to make something happen. 3v1 situation. Fear on Upsurge. Polymorph on WizK. But Peekaboo's just go, go, go. He's chasing down Chanimal, but the Demonic Circle allowing Chanimal to escape. Shadow Step from Peekaboo onto Wealthy Man. But now Chanimal is going to be gone for quite some time. There's actually the Panda Racial coming in from WizK. They're just trying. Look at Peekaboo just trying. He finally gets to his target and kidney shots him. It's been such a long journey. Yeah, but he finally gets that stun, and it's going to be able to put out some damage. And this is scary. I mean, if Chanimal cannot kite in the match, Peekaboo is going to be able to really rip into him on that Assassination Rogue.
He's staying in the earthen wall, waiting for its defense to fade before pushing in. Cubsy gets stunned up. WizK is still pretty far away from a Psychic Scream. He's making his way to midfield here. Gets the Psychic Scream. Cubsy pre-sacks, but Peekaboo's in trouble. Oh, Shadow stepping in, trying to go for the kill. Chanimal very low on health. Can they power through Unending Resolve here? Silence on the Cubsy. They're trying to push through it. Divine Shield from Cubsy. They get everything from Cloud9 here. If they don't win here, I don't know when they do. Chanimal heavily pressured. Divine Shield about to subside. Chanimal on the run. Nether Warding still very low. Peekaboo's going in with that sprint. It's do or die here for the Golden Guardians. They've gotten everything from Cloud9. They have to keep pushing. They have to keep going. Chanimal ports back to the pillar with freedom. In line of sight to try and fear Absturge. Absturge wind shears it. WizK grips Peekaboo to target. Nice play by the Golden Guardians. Beautiful smoke bomb to follow it all up. Line of sighting Cubsy's heels.
Ooh.
Golden Guardians tie it up 1-1.
Ah, you love that. I mean, looking at the Golden Guardians and what they were able to pull off in that game, the teamwork, the execution, WizK styling with that grip into the kidney shot, into the smoke bomb. I mean, that is exactly the type of move you want to see, and that's what the Golden Guardians were able to execute, and they tie up this series. And you can tell they're really fighting for it. And on these smaller maps, it seems like their pressure on Chanimal is really substantial, so they don't really have to wait till deep dampening. They have opportunities. If they can actually stay on target, but the problem is Cloud9, they did win on the big map, so likely for Game 3, potentially Game 5, we are going to those big maps, so we're going to have to see Peekaboo, WizK, and Absurge really step it up when it comes to, you know, winning a game and winning the swing match.
Yeah, super well done by Golden Guardians. You can tell just how hard they are fighting to stay in this series. Now it's tied up 1-1 here. Here is the replay for us for those final moments, Supatis.
Yeah, I mean, just this is the life grip. So Chanimal ported. See how far away Peekaboo is? WizK pulls him. Peekaboo steps in line of sight to Chanimal, and they did not expect that. Cubsy desperately tries to get in line of sight. That red cloud, line of sight's all spells in and out, so nobody could help Chanimal inside, and he couldn't do anything going out. So really good execution, nice swing of momentum right at the end of the game, exactly what they needed. Put a point on the board, but they're going to have to pull that off on Tolvaron. They have to pull that off on Ashamains, at least one of those maps, if they want a shot in this series, and that is much harder to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if it's relying on that of the map, the size of the map, we saw them have victory on Hook Point. Now it's going to be Cloud9's map choice here, likely to go with something quite a bit bigger here, Zico. Do we feel like, given that information, this is just going to go to a Game 5 here in this series?
I mean, it definitely could. We could definitely see it be in a situation where Cloud9, they're going to pick big maps. Golden Guardians are going to pick small maps. Cloud9 won the first game. They're going to have the double advantage in game number 5. They're going to bring it to the sandy sands of Tolvaron and bury the Golden Guardians there. Could definitely see it happening. But I don't know. Cloud9 on the small maps, they're really good as well. So I think it's Cloud9 series to lose, that's for sure. Golden Guardians, they're going to have to win one game either on Ashamains or on Tolvaron, and that's going to be really tough for them. The other thing is that, I don't know, Chanimal was playing Port this game, and I feel like on the smaller maps, I actually like Mortal Coil more, and on the big map, I like Port more. Because I feel like on the small maps, they can just reconnect on you a lot of the time, but on the big maps, when you port, you're actually away, and it feels like you get that value.
And if you guys want to see the gear that these players are running, you can go to awc.gcd.tv or check out that bottom bar down below here on the YouTube page. So what is it going to take then, Supatis, for Golden Guardians if they want to try and win a game here on Cloud9's map choice? What is that setup going to look like on the side of Golden Guardians?
80% dampening, and they still have Spirit Link at least, or Void Shift at least, or Cloak at least. At least one of them at 80% dampening, if not two of them. So they have enough time to stay on target. I'm just looking at the talents of Wealthy Man because you mentioned it. I'm looking at this like he's dampened magic. So all magic damage over time effects deal 20% less damage. So Whizkay's damage, all of it. Peekaboo's full gushing wounds, so a lot of Peekaboo's damage. And then Cubsy has Divine Vision, which reduces shadow damage over time effects by 15%. On top of that, so gushing wounds is, I mean, you still have to play it even, I guess, at that much reduced effectiveness, but this is such an insanely difficult comp for Shadow Priest Rogue just because of those talents. I mean, they're basically just reducing Whizkay's damage by almost a wall the entire game, like the equivalent of a wall effect. So, I mean, this is really tough for them.
All right, we are going to be going to Ashamane's Fall. Cloud9 now choosing their composition. About 40 seconds left here. Okay, so Supatees here thinks we're going to 80% dampening Ven and Zigo. Let's hear it. Let's break out some stickers.
Oh, this is for a sticker, huh? What
Yep,
are the rules, though?
yep.
We need an official ruling. Price is right, just the closest.
I think Price is Right is the most fair.
Okay, then I'm going last. I'm going last.
I'm going last.
Wait, why are you going last if the Price is Right is fair?
I never said it was fair. It's
Well, you
unfair.
just say it, we'll say
That's
it
why
at
I'm
the
going
same
last.
time.
Whatever.
What if I
I'm just going to
go
answer the
one-
question. I think this game is going to go to like 63% dampening.
Okay, 63.
63. Okay, I won't totally cheese it. I'll play it a little safe. I'll say 50. 50%.
50.
Okay.
Okay. What's it going to take then for Cloud9 to shut this down early if that is a goal of theirs, do you think, Supatees?
I don't know if they necessarily, I mean, just triangle position, max damage. If it ever feels like Golden Guardians are getting momentum, spam Polymorph, spam Fear, wait for that momentum to go away, triangle position again, cast damage, keep rinsing and repeating it over and over and over until you just attrition the Shaman, or you get a big burst of damage. Golden Guardians are looking a little bit shaky with their Glaired Medallion usage. I mean, I feel like there was multiple Glaired Medallions that weren't necessary or weren't comboed with an important cooldown that Cloud9 on a map like this will immediately exploit, so it's going to be tough. I mean, Peekaboo could barely connect on hook point, let alone this. Look how big it is. We got the bird's eye view. It's massive, so...
Who was it yesterday that said they were talking to Chan and he was like, oh, you know, we have really long games, but we get kind of a mental break behind the pillars.
Yeah.
Is that this
Zico
team?
and I got a chance to sit down with him and kind of talk to him about some of his games because they do typically have really long games, and I really think it's fun. Like we're looking at the chat, if they decide is Cloud9 the dampeners or is it the team hiding behind the pillar that are the dampeners? I mean, a lot of the time Cloud9 is, you know, they're trying to force the action. It's just the nature of their composition, right? Like they're not advantaged to push in more often than not. And on the flip side, the other team doesn't want to push in because then they just get bullied with crowd control. So it's a weird spot to be in. But you know, the one thing I do want to say about this matchup that's really interesting to me is I feel like this is a matchup where Snuts could easily be brought in and do well. Like I really think that Snuts could be brought in on a Windwalker Monk and they could, you know, do quite a bit. But I think Cloud9 are just most prepared on this composition, and theoretically on the big map as well, they should have an advantage. But the Golden Guardians, if they can pull this off, that would be absolutely incredible.
Well, let's see if they can. Good start so far here on the Channibal. Oh, maybe they can clutch it out. Now Channibal deflects double mortal coil. He actually uses unending resolve. He's totally respecting this initial assault. Doesn't want to go down to any Drestagath pressure there, but unending resolve is an important cooldown to get out of the way, as Ineffable Truth doesn't reset the Warlock's cooldown. So, but look at Peekaboo, feared into the far corner of Ashamane's Fall. Shadow stepping in onto Wealthy Man. Channel punishes the Shadow Step by using the Demonic Gateway. And now Peekaboo, I mean, are you going to get back to target anytime soon? This is a very slow waddle. He does manage to get back on target, stuns up Chanimal. Absurge pushes up. He's been looking for a lot of hexes on Wealthy Man when Whizkay goes for crowd control and Cubsy. They get that 3 versus 1 situation. It's definitely good offense for them, but at the moment Whizkay gets swapped to. Huge pressure. Absurge denies the kill with Earthen Wall Totem. Peekaboo gets out of crowd control, and Golden Guardians look to engage. Psychic Quarter, silence, Chanimal to target. He calls in Infernals, activating that stone skin to remove some of those damage over time effects or fire blood. Not sure if he's Dark Iron Dwarf or regular Dwarf, probably Dark Iron, but either way, totally negating all of the damage on that push with the Infernal and the racial usage. Oh, counterspell by Welterman. He's getting cheeky. Absurge ducks into the fight with that Ascendance to top off his team, and Golden Guardians are doing their best to stay on target here, and they have been denting Cloud9 a lot more than I anticipated.
Yeah, we're going to see Chanimal now getting smoked here, but he is actually outside the smoke bomb. Cubsy manages to stay inside there, and he's just going to top him with the Divine Favor. Chan now activating his Dark Soul. He's going to have big damage here to anybody who he can reach, but he's taking some damage from the Side Fiend. Wolfman kills it off. Full sheep onto Absturge. Here we go. Who is the target? Whiskey looks like the target. Absturge going to trigger it out of the sheep into a full fear. Whiskey and a Hammer of Justice, and he is going to get sheep potentially out of the fear. Absturge not being able to do anything about all of this crowd control, getting CC'd through his trinket. They force out the Disperse earlier on Wiz, and now they have a pretty prime position here for C9 to maybe force out the Spirit Link or a Void Shift or something big like that. But Chan is the one on the back foot, full Hex secured onto Wealthy Man. Let's see what they can get done. Cubsy gets cheap shotted into a full fear. Chan with that small sacrifice is still taking a beating here, and now finally is going to recover with that Avenging Wrath. Blessing of Protection gets thrown out. Here is the Hammer of Justice. They have the crowd control that they need. They got a full fear on the Pika. They're going after Whiskey here. Mind Control gets casted. Oh, you got to be careful here, Wiz. You can't be casting right now. Wealthy Man has the CS, and we've seen in the past what can happen. Whiskey is going to stabilize there, though. And now, once again, Golden Guardians look to get aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if they can get it done. Cloak of Shadow still available for Peekaboo, so he has the tools he needs to stay in the open for an extended period of time. Full Polymorph lands. If they can get the Cloak of Shadows, this would be really big here for Cloud9. Peekaboo getting lower, has to be a little bit careful. And once again, it's going to be Hammer of Justice out on the Peekaboo. He could get bursted down here. Full fear on Absurge. Certainly going to be the Cloak of Shadows, and that is a big victory there for Cloud9. As anytime Peekaboo doesn't have his Vanish and Cloak of Shadows, he is very susceptible to just being absolutely blown away. But at the same time, they're getting massive pressure here on the Chanimal. Silence onto Cubsy, and they get the Unending Resolve. This is big. I mean, the Golden Guardians, they trade the Cloak of Shadows, but they get the Unending Resolve. They got Trinket out of the way. There's no Blessing of Protections left. And Golden Guardians are looking to close this game out earlier than dampening, if they can, which would be absolutely insane. We'll see if they can continue this push.
Whiskey goes for the Quaking Palm, no follow-up. Hammer of Justice on Peekaboo, no Dispel. Whiskey got Dispelled on a Polymorph, big punish on that Dispel. Absurge going to drop a Spirit Link. He panics on the Dark Soul, wants to trade with that, but that was a very important cooldown for their win condition out of the way. Absurge tries to Hex, he gets counterspelled. Absurge getting shut down here into a full Polymorph. They're still trying to push for the win here. Whiskey in position for Silence. Where's the Psychic Scream? Is it off cooldown? Doesn't look like it. Cubsy's not crowd controlled any longer. Absurge getting max ranged by Wealthy Man. He's still trying to hex him. Does finally land the full hex. Interested to see if Wealthy Man uses an ice block on any of these hexes, but full fear, full stun. Danger time here for Golden Guardians on Ashamane's fall. Do they have enough damage to finish off Peekaboo here? He's hovering at sub 50%. He shadow steps to Wealthy Man out of the Frozen Orb. Enough time has been bought. Vitality Conduit stabilizes the team here. No Gladiators Medallions, though, for Golden Guardians. They can't escape crowd control, and obviously the Mage Warlock have a plethora of that, so at any moment they could get clotheslined and outright killed. And Peekaboo's very far in the distance here. Absurge just to leave into midfield, and guess what? There's a Mage and a Warlock waiting, full Polymorph, but they fear Cubsy. They're trying to push for the kill. Cubsy going to respect it. Divine shielding out of the Psychic Scream, but they smoke bomb the big heal. Whiskey's Mortal Cold, he can't dispel it. Cubsy connects the heal just in time. Channel gets pulled back into the fight, although aggressively, Golden Guardians look good. If they can just get their defense equal to that offense, I feel like they have the potential to take the swing match.
They're definitely in a pretty prime position right now. Full blind comes out. Cubsy's going to trinket out of it. Gets silenced here. No sacrifice. Big damage coming in. If Whiskey has something, they could definitely close out the game here. Cubsy's greeting the sacrifice right now. I'm not sure about that, but I guess it's going to work out for him. Full Hammer of Justice here onto Absurge. They're actually swapping to Absurge. Here's the Infernals. Where's the Mortal Coil? Chanimal doesn't have it for a couple more seconds. and it looks like Absterge is going to brush that off with the Astral Shift, go back to the pillar, and now he's going to get sheeped immediately there. Looks like they're going after Pika once again. He does have his Cloak of Shadows. Kidney Shot connects. There's the Quaking Pommel to Cubsy. He gets disarmed. Do they have the fear? The Siphon is out. It's not going to get killed immediately. Actually, it does by Chanimal. Wealthy Man looking to continue the chain here, but it looks like C9 are going to recover. It looks like Golden Guardians as well are going to recover, but they do force out the sacrifice. Hex being loaded up, gets casted onto Wealthy Man. Full silence. Chanimal gates to safety here. Fears up Whiskey. Gets kidneyed once again. Gets bopped out of that kidney, and now here comes the Dark Soul. Big damage. Peekaboo shadow steps behind the target. You can only chaos bolt someone who's in front of you. Peekaboo literally shadow stepping 1 yard just to avoid a little bit of damage, but he's still dropping dangerously low. Full shape onto Absterge. He's going to trinket out of that one. Frozen Orb comes out. If Wealthy Man can get another one, they could still force out the Cloak of Shadows, but now Absterge is going to be in that safety net of that Frozen Orb, which would break any sheeps on him, so he should recover Pika. Now, once again, Golden Guardian looking to get aggressive here, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just over and over. It's been unrelenting here for the Golden Guardians on Cloud9. Cloud9 just cannot force them back, which is really interesting. Full Fear lands onto Cubsy. WizK in the open. Maybe they want to change their targeting. I was just going to suggest, I mean, WizK, him just pushing out, you know, doing whatever he wants in the game. I feel like maybe going after him instead of Peekaboo might be an option for them. They do get the unending resolve from Chanimal. Great push here. Interrupt onto Absurge. Polymorph on Peekaboo. WizK now in Immortal Coil as they look to continue to blast him the best they can, but getting that unending resolve out of the way. Once again, a minor victory here for the Golden Guardians. And Cubsy doesn't really have too many healing cooldowns left. I guess the one benefit is Ineffable Truth Paladin. You will be able to get those cooldowns up relatively soon if you do get the proc.
This could be it.
WizK actually using the dispersion as well. Can they make the push? Stun onto Cubsy. He does have his trinket. He trinkets out of the blind. Divine Shield up in 20 seconds. Avenging Wrath up in just 1. And now I think Cloud9 are going to be able to hold on, but they're burning through mana really, really quickly. Infernals drop down. Chanimal needs to look to reverse the pressure, and they are going to be switching their targeting onto WizK. Going after Peekaboo doesn't seem to be working, and I think with how aggro WizK is playing, he's going to be a great target for this team.
Oh, silence on Cubsy, fear on Wealthy Man, 3 versus 1. They're trying to gun down Chanimal. Smoke Bomb is available. They're going to drop the Smoke Bomb. They're trying to power through with this couple of seconds, but Mortal Coil into Peekaboo is going to buy Chanimal more than enough time. Avenging Wrath is up. Cubsy's not controlled. He's easily going to heal the whole team to full health for the next couple of seconds. Absterge's mana is looking a bit more shaky now. Sub 50%. Drops the Earthen Wall. Chanimal gates out of the Earthen Wall, but Cubsy gets stunned up. WizK's trying to push for the kill. Wealthy Man intercepts. WizK can't connect. Beautiful interception. They stun up Chanimal around the corner. Cubsy's trying to reposition to assist, but he is walking into range of the Golden Guardians team here. Close quarters. WizK marching forward. Cubsy trying to reposition to the next pillar. They stun up Peekaboo. He pre-feints the Hammer of Justice. Really well timed by Peekaboo, reducing a ton of damage during that stun. Vitality Conduit stabilizing him. Hammer of Justice on a WizK now. Actually chooses to trinket. Again, very aggressive trinket usage here by the Golden Guardians, but perhaps they can just overrun the Cloud9 here. Cubsy pre-sacrificing any further crowd control. Totally shutting down this assault. Now Cloud9 need to kind of get their feet grounded and start getting aggressive. Ultimate has opted to use Ice Block to break a Hex and get damage out during this time towards WizK, but WizK has Dispersion. He can use that not only to stop damage, but get in position for a Fear as well due to its movement suppressing effects. Cubsy Divine Shield Psychic Scream. He doesn't want to fall behind. Absterge is in a poly. They're punishing WizK. WizK has to disperse and retreat. Peekaboo Shadow steps into the fight, stuns up the Fear. Now gets stunned himself. They could swap to Peekaboo out in midfield. Animal not finding any cast, though. It's all Wealthy Man. I don't think Wealthy Man's going to solo him here at this point in time, just attacking WizK. We see all of Golden Guardians marching forward, but this is a gauntlet I'm not sure that they can reach the finish to.
Ooh, Peekaboo trinketing out of a coil there. He was a little bit out of position, and that's going to be a nice punish there from Chan. Now Chan stuck in a kidney shot, full silence on the Cubsy, no bubble, no trinket. What are you going to do here, Cubsy? He's going to activate the wings. Infernos are being summoned. Cataclysm comes out. Big damn here. Blizzard is going to be up as well now. Looks like they're going to be turning their attention here over onto Wiz. Let's see what Peekaboo does. He decides to go back in with the Shadow Step with the Vanish here. He gets a double Garrote up. He gets feared up. looking to get some pressure going here. Full fear onto Absterge. Absterge's mana is not doing great, but neither is Cubsy's actually. They get a full Hammer of Justice here onto Pika, but that's got to be Absterge's Trinket. He's going to Trinket, dispel that immediately. He still has his Spirit Link to fall back on. Another Blessing of Protection coming out from Cubsy here, and Chanimal is going to kite with that freedom. Pika has no Shadow Step for another 10 or so seconds from when he used that Vanish, so he should have it now, and there it is. Shadow Step going to come back to Chan. He's out of line of sight though from WizK, but still everyone's just dogpiling here onto Cubsy, onto Chan, and if they can find some crowd control, there it is. Full disarm. If WizK trinkets out of the sheep, he's going to get the fear. He gets a Quaking Palm. Absterge needs to dispel him. He gets it. Full fear. Chan is in massive trouble here. Sacrifice, but it's not the ultimate sacrifice. What is he going to do to survive here? Full Healthstone coming out. There's the Divine Favor. Doesn't do anything. There's the sacrifice before the Smoke Bomb. Vitality Conduit comes out, but it doesn't work in the Smoke Bomb. Chan, what are you going to do to survive here? Cubsy is trying to heal him up. He's got the wings. He's going to immediately activate it, and he is going to be able to recover Chan most likely in this situation here. He just needs to get a couple of more Holy Lights. WizK is chasing him for the fear, but Wealthy Man once again shuts it down with the Polymorphs, and it looks like C9 are going to stabilize here at 40% dampening.
Yeah, they managed to do it. If Cubsy can sneak away for a drink, this would be the biggest and best moment to do it. Peekaboo moves in, Shadow Step, Kidney Shot, kick onto Wealthy Man. Here's a blind on Cubsy as well. They do get the trinket, but this is such a scary moment for Peekaboo. Look, he's got no Vanish. Abster just caught into a fear. They do have the Void Shift, but WizK with no trinket. He just gets crowd control, but they're just going for it. Golden Guardians, they want to take down Chanimal. The Divine Shield from Cubsy might have to get ripped out if he gets interrupted. It could be an absolute nightmare. Hammer of Justice now on Peekaboo. Wealthy Man looking to set up the team. Full Polymorph on Absterge. And it looks like Chanimal still not topped off. Infernals do drop down. Cloud9, they realize this could be do or die. They have to force Golden Guardians back. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Almost 50% dampening. Cubsy with no mana. Is Golden Guardians really going to be able to pull it off? It would be a massive upset if they could. Huge silence on Chanimal. Big drastic gap. And Chanimal might fall, and he does. The Golden Guardians, they win the swing match on the big map. And they look good in that game. I mean, throughout that entire game, it seemed like Golden Guardians were in the driver's seat. I cannot believe it. And Cloud9, I think they have to make a change.
This is absolutely crazy. Golden Guardians turning this around now 2-1. As we talked about before the series started, Golden Guardians need to win every series for the rest of the circuit if they want to be in the top 4, and they're well on their way. This team's looking absolutely on fire, Supties.
Yeah, really unbelievable. I really think Absterge stepped up in that game. He was crowd controlling Wealthy Man a ton. And I mean, it's Wealthy Man who has to somewhat take control of the game because Chanimal was getting attacked. So Absterge removing Wealthy Man was super important to slowing down the pressure and giving Peekaboo the time that he needed on Chanimal to find the kill. I mean, how many crowd controls? 11 inflicted by Absterge, not counting the Earth Grab roots either. I think WizK got an instant purge on the Divine Favor at the end of the game too. Which would have healed Chanimal, I think, enough to live. So just really clutch plays at the final seconds there. I mean, look at the purges, 177 from WizK. He's constantly stripping that Light's Grace off, trying to go for the Divine Favors. So you can tell that they know what their win condition is. They played that match excellently. It's not very often you see Cloud9 lose on Ashamane's Fall. They went from 100% win rate to losing now twice in a row on this map to 2 different teams. So the teams in North America are stepping up, and maybe this is the time to see Snuts.
Yeah, now 2-1 here. Golden Guardians really on the move here. Haha. That was actually on accident, and then I realized what it sounded like. I mean, this team is really stepping it up now. Like, we saw them struggling in the beginning here. They didn't have any wins yet. They won their series yesterday. Now they're only 1 game away from beating Cloud9, and this just seems like a different team than what we saw them play, or how we saw them playing in the beginning of this circuit here, Zico.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the beginning they played well, but their comp picks wasn't, the best. But, in their credit, we have been saying, let's see them play some more stuff. Let's see them diversify. And then when they do, we're like, come on, guys. What is this? But yeah, I do think that the only adaptation they really needed was multi-class a little bit more with the healer, and maybe have Wiz on the lock for some matchups. But for the most part, just try to play that Shadow Priest Rogue. They do it better than anybody else. And, right now, they win the swing match against C9. So even if they lose the next game, which presumably is going to be on Tolvir, they can still bring it to close quarters for that potential game number 5.
Yeah, and before the series that we saw Cloud9 lose yesterday, Golden Guardians were the only team that had been able to beat Cloud9 in a series. It was 3-2. They were playing this composition. Cloud9 playing Mage Lock again. Once Cloud9 started to lose, they swapped to the Lock Windwalker with a Mistweaver as well. Is that going to be their next move here, Ven? Or what do you think Cloud9 needs to do if they want to turn the series back around in their favor?
It's a really nice quote. Don't you ever put Snuts on the bench again. And I feel like this could be one of those moments where we need to see Snuts come off the bench. I mean, Cloud9 sometimes are stubborn with their Mage Lock and they want to make it work, and they've made it work for years. So you can't blame them. They try to have that repeat success. But Golden Guardians, they're on fire. And I think Cloud9, they need to make a change, because in that game, the last 2 games, it really feels like the Golden Guardians are the ones that are kind of controlling the pacing of the game. I feel like they had Cloud9 on the back foot for a majority of that match, and I don't know what it is. I mean, these Shaman teams are contesting Mage Lock. There's multiple Shaman teams now. They're doing really, really well into these Mage Lock compositions, into these Paladins, and maybe the extra purges, and I don't know what it is, but we are seeing Shamans do quite well, and Golden Guardians are going to be bringing Upsurge onto, his favorite class. And Golden Guardians are going to get to play their best composition in Cloud9. Now they get to decide, are we making a change? And they will be. They are going to be tagging in Snuts, and let's see if they can pull it off. I feel like Cloud9 with this composition is going to be looking really good. I think this is a great answer. I think they can find big one-shots on Peekaboo. They can consistently go after WizK, and I think it's going to give them a lot more consistent pressure in the match.
Yeah, I was talking with Anita, Snuts' girlfriend, a little bit during that last game. It sounds like, from her perspective, listening in on these games from Snuts, it's just an absolutely intense series from them, and it's cool to see Snuts stepping in now. Now we get to see those guys play. Soup Teas, what do you feel about this composition on the side of Cloud9?
It worked in the past when these teams were looking evenly matched in the cup stage, so I think tagging Snuts in here is a wise decision. It's not often that Cloud9 is forced off their Mage Lock, so I'm glad that they aren't being kind of stubborn to it. I think that Windwalker Warlock is a much better matchup, and we can see here Snuts doesn't play very often, but when he does, he wins a lot. So he's the ringer. He's going to be brought in for these types of matchups to try and close it out when the Mage Lock is not working out. So I'm excited to see Snuts play again here. Golden Guardians, they only need to win one more game, and they've still got their dreams of qualifying. And it would be huge momentum to be able to beat Cloud9, #1 seed from North America. And the thing is, if they do lose here, they've got their map pick. They could switch their comp. I don't know if they have something that would be better, though, unfortunately, into Windwalker Lock. I think they're going to just have to make the Shadow Priest Rogue work. If anyone could do it, it would be them.
So some of the things also that I feel like a lot of people don't realize with these teams that have four members, we don't see their 4th member play that often. That doesn't mean that they're not a valuable member of that team. We've talked to Cloud9 before in interviews and saying, Snuts doesn't play that often, but they always say that he is one of the most important members of this team. He really is the playmaker of this team. He might be one of the most experienced players on that team in terms of how long he's been competing in the AWC. And Snuts, regardless of that 10% play rate you see on the board here for his stats, is really just an integral part of Cloud9's ego.
Yeah, actually, when we were doing the Cloud9 broadcast, we talked about that specific topic about, how is it to be the 4th player? What do you think? And Snuts said, during the game, he is in the comms with his teams, and he's saying, hey guys, this guy doesn't have a trinket. You can set up a kill here. Pika has no cloak. You can go on this guy. And he's always been a very vocal member, and he's playing a lot with the team, practicing all of the other comps. He just hasn't been needed, but when he is needed, he usually shows up in a big, big way, and that's what we're going to expect here. The next game here, game number 4, is live. Golden Guardians got Cloud9 here on match point, and Chan just takes a fat dress to the face. Cubsy gets feared into a silence. It's already starting out well here for the Golden Guardians. They get a decent amount of pressure here. Absolutely going to drop the Earthen Wall Totem as well. It's Nuts now looking to get some pressure with the Fist of Fury. He's got the leg sweep already used here, and there's the Tiger Palm. Full smoke bomb being dropped here. Chanimal going to use... Actually, no, he's not going to need to use it on any result.
What is happening?
What is this damage?
So much pressure, man.
So much pressure. Everyone's just dead. Cubsy's used his Avenging Wrath. He's used his Sacrifice. Finally, everyone gets topped off, and here is the Touch of Death from Snots, but I think WizK has some solid answers for it. It might be the Dispersion, maybe. We'll see. It's a big hit over onto WizK, but it looks like he's going to be able to shrug that off. And now crowd control once again initiated onto Cubsy into a silence. Chanimal rotting down low. Peekaboo looking for more crowd control on Cubsy. Let's see if he's going to be able to get it. Goes for the Shadow Step. Garrote silence into a kidney shot on Chanimal. WizK positioning for a Fear. Manages to find the full Fear. And there's no trinket for Cubsy. Chanimal getting lower. Can they get more from this crowd control chain? Doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Unfortunately, the damage just isn't there, but definitely not a bad start here for the Golden Guardians.
Earthen Wall on the Hammer of Justice there, but Abstract gets spell locked. Chaos Bolt channeled by Chanimal. Connecting onto WizK, trying to force Dispersion. Snuts rolls back to swap to Peekaboo, creating pressure in 2 places. Peekaboo pulls back for a moment, then charges right back into the fight. Abstract needs to try and get line of sight to heal him up here. Chain heals bombing in. WizK is moving in position to get crowd control on this Avenging Wrath. It would be critical timing here. Snuts tries to prevent it by rooting up WizK just out of range of a Psychic Scream. They get it to full Hex! Beautiful Hex by Abstract on the bottom side. Channel must use Unending Resolve. It might even be more than that if they're not careful. Avenging Wrath Divine Favor, big heal comes in from Cubsy, and man, the Golden Guardians are playing at the highest level possible right now here, and they're taking a matchup that they've lost in the past and making it look almost easy. If they can keep this momentum, man, I think they're going to be able to do it. Kick on Chanimal, he's low health. Cubsy's Avenging Wrath. Luckily for him, Ineffable Truth procs. He's going to have Avenging Wrath right now, exactly when he needs it. To heal Chanimal back up. He is lobbing out some Chaos Bolts on WizK. WizK going to respect it and use Dispersion, but it wasn't the Dark Soul. Chanimal's a big threat. Golden Guardians need to get ready.
Oh, let's see it here. Big Chaos Bolt coming out here onto WizK. WizK's going to deflect situation here with the Vampiric Embrace, meaning his damage will be healing everybody on the team. And right now there's no dampening, actually 2 minutes away, so it's looking pretty good here. And the strategy here for Cloud9 is going to be hit WizK and potentially swap over to Snuts like this. Go for the dress play. You can see Snuts is ready for it right now. He's going to go for big damage there. And every time they do that, they're going to try to force out either Abster's Trinket or Pika's Trinket. And when there's no trinkets, that's going to be a checkmate. Snuts is insane at finding those opportunities on that Windwalker. Unfortunately for him, though, weren't able to land it just yet there. Pika with some evasive moves. He still has the leg sweep, though, and now he's going to pop the trigger here onto WizK. Touch of Death is rolling. Big damage here onto WizK. He doesn't have Dispersion. He might have Fade for it, though. Actually, doesn't either. Just the Spirit Link gets traded out here for Absterge. Nice push here by C9.
Definitely a nice push. Let's see if they can turn it around. Cubsy's got a lot of his cooldowns rotated back up. WizK does get interrupted. He's getting beat on by Snuts in the midfield. Absurge connects some heals, and this is a very explosive match. They're actually going after Peekaboo. Looks like one Chaos Bolt will land. He feints it and should be able to survive it. Now, I was actually looking at the chat. Healing Stat says he doesn't think this matchup is actually that bad for RPS, especially being able to get the hexes in the game. And they don't have a dispel for that. So you can see right now, Snuts is going to be sitting that full hex, and that will be limiting their pressure. So I think if Absurge can find these hexes in the game, definitely going to be something that can swing the momentum in favor of the Golden Guardians. And let's see, here's a big push. Silence onto Cubsy into a disarm. The instant crowd control initiated there by WizK. Animal getting lower and lower. I mean, this is pre-dampening, and the pressure from both these teams is insane. Peekaboo forced to use his trinket there. Smoke Bomb drops down, and Chanimal now caught into this stun. Not going to be able to get out. Keep in mind, he's playing Relentless as a dwarf, so the stuns are going to be lowered, but those Smoke Bomb attempts are going to be really scary for Golden Guardians.
I'm glad that Cubsy didn't panic. I think a Smoke Bomb was baiting Cubsy to run into a Psychic Scream, so he didn't fall for the bait. He knew Chanimal would survive. He's trying to stay max range from WizK at the moment. Snuts is trying to force WizK back, and I think he successfully has. Absterge is in midfield. He could look for hexes, but he gets paralyzed by Snuts. Snuts going back to Peekaboo. Peekaboo with no trinket. He pre-evasions, anticipating a stun here, but Hammer of Justice does not care about evasion. Absterge trinkets here to respect this crowd control engagement. Full blind, trinket up and one. Cubsy instantly trinkets into a stun. Nice punish by WizK. In position for a hex. Cubsy has a Divine Shield on top of his trinket. Beautiful play by the Golden Guardians. A small victory there, which could result in a massive lead in the immediate future if they can keep up their momentum. Silence on Cubsy. Avenging Wrath comes up in 7 seconds. He's got Holy Avenger 2 to combo for massive heals. Dark Soul, Infernal, Touch of Death, no trinket on Peekaboo, no evasion on Peekaboo. They need to get ready. Peekaboo could easily disappear here. Absurge up Earthen Wall, anticipating the attack, but Cloud9 are patient. They're going to wait for it to subside before going for the push. Dressicat drops in from Peekaboo, but Absurge is locked down and paralyzed. Snuts pops a Storm, Earth, and Fire, but a double Sidekick Scream defensively peels the damage for now, and then went for the stuns on Peekaboo. Peekaboo just going to walk it off, not nearly the amount of pressure they were hoping to find in that stun lock. Snut switches back to WizK. Cubsy pre-sacks the stun, but it's now faded, and oh no, WizK almost gets eradicated by Chanimal there, dispersing on 1%, but 1% is still better than dead, so Golden Guardians stay in it.
1% is more than 0% there. That was the touch of death of Snuts, and that go on Peekaboo was actually a checkmate go. They wanted to actually take Peekaboo down there, or potentially at least force out the Void Shift, but WizK feared up the Fist of Fury of Snuts, all of his images, broke up the damage in the stun, and saved his teammates' lives without using the Void Shift. And now he grips Absurge 1 millimeter behind the pillar so that he won't get bolted there by Chan. Now, Chan just sat a kidney shot. He's going to gain away to safety. If Peekaboo chases him, he's going to be in a world of trouble. He's going to chase him. He's going to overextend, but Absurge actually pushing up with him, and that's exactly what he needs to do. He's going to go for the Hex. He gets paralyzed there. Beautiful stun. Beautiful stop there by Snuts, and now Absurge in a full fear, but somehow breaks out. And here we go. There's the Hex. That's going to be it. Maybe. They have no way out. 5 seconds on Cubs' trinket. Chan gets a fat heal right there with the Hellstone, with the unending resolve. But this is looking like Golden Guardian series to lose right now. They don't have that much defense. They have Absurge to fall back on. They have the Void Shift to fall back on. But other than that, Peekaboo could easily get erased in a second here. Hammer of Justice coming out onto Absurge. He's going to be able to sit through it. Nice Blessing of Protection there onto Chan before he gets mind controlled. Excellently done there by Cubsy, but slowly but surely, they're withering down all of the cooldowns from C9. And I don't know, but Golden Guardians are looking like they are actually in the driver's seat here, 17% into the damp.
No, it is true. Look at WizK. He's just trying to make it to Cubsy. A silence comes in. Chanimal is getting lower. Kidney shot does land. Is there any more crowd control? The sacrifice from Cubsy will keep Chanimal alive, hopefully for them. Now a double leg sweep coming in. WizK has a dispersion once again, and Absurge drops the pre-Earthen Wall totem. Really nicely done. And all pressure in favor of the Golden Guardians. Hex onto Cubsy. Immediate Divine Shield. They're getting cooldowns left, right, and center. And Chanimal is going to be in big trouble. The next attack here coming in from Golden Guardians. Once they get crowd control on Cubsy, there's nothing left whatsoever. Can they take down Peekaboo? Big setup here on Peekaboo. They don't overly panic. The Spirit Link, actually they do panic. There's the Spirit Link totem as well as the Void Shift. Now it's anyone's game. Here they go. Do they have the damage, though? They need the damage to take down Chanimal. He's going to be very, very durable. Silence out onto Cubsy. They just need a little bit more pressure. Any more crowd control? Can they find it? I don't know if they're going to be able to. Now WizK actually gets dropped. They turn it around, and they tie up this series. And now this gets really interesting.
Wow, 2-2 now, Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians. This is going to be going to a Game 5. I was actually looking at the last time Golden Guardians beat Cloud9. This is exactly how it went. Cloud9 winning game number 1, Golden Guardians winning the next 2 games, and then Cloud9 tying it back up again. So now, Golden Guardians to choose their map if they want to turn this around to win game number 5. What do we need to see here, Zico?
I mean, the same thing we just saw pretty much. They just overlapped the Spirit Link and the Void Shift and everything from that one go, and then Snuts just got a solo kill behind the pillar. I don't know. It felt like that game, it was very back and forth, but it like, I want to say 20 seconds before the kill, it looked like Golden Guardians were the ones in the driver's seat. But I think one change they could do, potentially, is to maybe bring in a Paladin, because a Paladin is a really good answer for those Windwalker monks. You have a lot of ways to deal with their cooldowns. You can remove the Blessing of Protection and remove the Touch of Death and the Touch of Karma and a lot of those things. So I think maybe go for a Paladin pick. Otherwise, they could even play RPS and still be in a pretty okay spot here.
Yep, should shortly have that replay here for the final moments in that last game here. Here it is.
Yeah, so right before this, they used Void Shift. You can see it is on 5-minute cooldown. Spirit Link is on a 5-minute cooldown. WizK, he gets destroyed by the slapper right there. And Snuts paralyzes Absurge. He trinkets out, and then he just dies before he can get a cast off. So Snuts with that Dress the Gath trinket as well. An important thing about the way the Dress the Gath trinket, whoops.
Woo!
Are you okay?
That's my coffee
first.
mug. It's
Did
fine.
you pop Drestigath on your table?
On my coffee mug? No, we're all good. But the thing about the Dressed is that it basically, if your character is here, it does a little AoE around your character. And if you move your character like this and you hit the edge of the AoE on one player only, the damage is going to be full on that one player. But if you're standing in the middle of a bunch of players, everyone is going to take evenly split damage. So it's not a nice sidestep there as well, because Absterge and Whiskey were stacked at the end.
All right, so now Golden Guardians map choice here, Supatees. Do you want to make any guesses on where we're going next, do you think?
I'm trying to think if a big map would actually be better or worse. I feel like you don't go too big. What is they already played Tigers? Like you don't, again, Goldilocks. I feel like you don't go too big, you don't go too small. I wonder. There's no way Mugambala. I feel maybe Mugambala. No, not Mugambala. Maybe Robodrome. Somewhere where Cubsy can avoid WizK still. It's like decently sized pillars if they need to run. If Snuts is the target, they're gonna go to runes. Okay, so they're just gonna go guns blazing, no line of sight.
Well, Golden Guardians want this map, right? Like basically the problem from the last game that I saw. This is Golden Guardians map pick. So the problem that I saw in the last game was that WizK couldn't get fears. Like the map was too big, where Cubsy was able to escape with the Divine Steed with freedom and avoid fears. And I think on the small map, if WizK can get fears, if he can extend, the disarm, the psychic horror into the silence and get a fear, that is when things really unravel and become, it becomes very overwhelming for Cloud9. But on the smaller map, it's going to be a lot harder to pull off.
You think they stay this composition then, Cloud9?
I don't think they have a choice. There's no way Mage Lock is better. The only thing is I'm wondering if maybe Cubsy plays... What else would Cubsy even play? Like, Druid's not an op... Oh! That's spicy.
Okay.
How long has it been since we've
Cloud9.
seen Snuts and Wealthy Man together? At the same time. I feel like
I couldn't tell you. All right,
Okay.
Cloud9 locking in Holy Paladin, Fire Mage, Wind Walker. What do we want to say about this comp here on the side of Cloud9?
I mean, it's a great comp. We've seen a lot of great teams play it. M2KC, we've seen the Mystery Org play it. We've seen Wildcard Gaming in Europe run this earlier today and be very successful with it. This is a comp that has everything. You can play late, you can play early, you can set up kills, you can set up spites. It's a very well-rounded comp, and I'm sure they've been practicing it. And this is, I guess, going to be the debut for Cloud9 on it.
Mm-hmm. And we've discussed quite a bit as well today for Fire Mages. Vence mentioned it quite a bit with Gelu. Do they run full verse? Do they run full haste? Or would you rather see them do something more in the middle than like you've suggested it before today?
I think Wealthy Man should put on as much versatility as he can ever equip on his character. I think it's going to be really important. He'll probably be the main target in this matchup. Going haste would not be the move. So definitely don't do that. But I think for Cloud9, that's one of the nice things about this comp is Wealthy Man and Snuts can both play Conflict and Strife if they want to, which will give them even more durability and stuns. And I think Wealthy Man should theoretically be... Like, the nice thing about the Mage over the Warlock, if you think about this matchup, is the Mage is going to be able to get out a lot more instant damage than the Destruction Warlock. I feel like the Destruction Warlock is very susceptible to just getting kidneyed into kick, into wind shear, into ground, and he's basically just a meat shield for Cloud9, whereas the Mage, solid meat shield also, definitely a strong tank, but can get out a lot more instant damage and instant crowd control. So I think in terms of kill potential, Cloud9, their stonks just went way up, and I think this is overall a better composition for Cloud9.
Okay, Golden Guardians now locking in their composition here. Now we see Cloud9's comp. Who do we think? What do we think the kill target is then on the side of Golden Guardians? How they're going to try and set up a kill there, Supatees?
I think you try and kill... It depends. I want to say Snuts and try and hex Wealthy Man when you crowd control Cubsy, the same way that they were playing into the Mage Lock. That way you remove the Mage peels, you remove the Paladin healing, and then you isolate the Windwalker, you make him defensive. I feel like I would like to see the Monk targeted. Usually you go after mages, but this dampened magic dot damage reduction, divine vision damage reduction. I mean, full versatility. I feel like Wealthy Man's going to be really hard to kill, and they can't hex anyone else because Wealthy Man, unless they coordinate it, they could kidney shot Wealthy Man and like hex Snuts. They're going to have to be coordinated regardless if they want to win this. So, but their targeting is probably going to be between Snuts and Wealthy Man.
All right, well, now that we have both comps, this was Golden Guardian's map choice, Zico. Ruins of Lordaeron, that is going to be where we're going. Now we see Cloud9's composition as well. Do we feel like there's a team here that is a little bit more favored just based on what we're seeing here for the draft?
Honestly, this is a matchup I haven't seen play out, so I don't want to say one team is more favored than the other. But if I look at it, I gotta say C9 are advantage here.
Okay. Do we want to make guesses?
Points?
It's a pretty intense series, game 5.
Golden Guardians win, but I think C9 are advantaged.
Okay. Ben, Supa?
Put your points where your mouth is.
Okay, I feel like Cloud9's winning.
I just want to point out I did not get a sticker, even though I won on Ashley's Fall for saying 50% dampening. So I didn't forget about that, just so you guys know. I know CPTs and Zico.
There you go. Sticker for you. Get a zebra.
Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, this is so hard. I really feel like Cloud9 has a compositional advantage here. Breaks my heart to say. I feel like my head is saying Cloud9 is going to win, but my heart wants Golden Guardians' run to not be over, you know? I
mean,
I feel like Cloud9 has a big compositional advantage. Like, I have to go with my head on this one. I think Cloud9 will end up winning, but I don't know if that's the result I want. Golden Guardians.
Yeah, but you want the sticker,
really
right?
It's a really difficult spot for Golden Guardians to be in. If they want to get in that top 4 spot, we've said it before, they need to win this next game. It is all on the line for Golden Guardians. But I feel like for this series in particular, they've really showed up today. They've showed us why they deserve to be in that top 4 spot. And I feel like even if you guys think that, you know, looking at the 2 compositions that we're playing and the map that we're going to, if maybe they do have a composition advantage on the side of Cloud9, I feel like the heart is really there for both teams. But Golden Guardians, I think, really, really want this. They know that they have to pull off this next victory if they want to stay in the top 4 Super Ts.
I mean, the main advantage they have is that they've played together as this comp for a really long time. Whereas, like, when I said, when was the last time we saw Wealthy Man and Snuts play together, let alone play together as Windwalker Mage? I mean, they're both phenomenal individual players, but synergy might outweigh that. That's definitely one thing the Golden Guardians do have in their court. Taking a look at WizK's play card here, only a 45% win rate. I feel like, what are they losing against most? I feel like they just had a rough year, honestly. The Golden Guardians, they finally got their stride in their last series, so they really need to keep the momentum going. But game 5 now, the hardest team in North America. I mean, does it really get any spicier than this?
Okay, we can also see WizK's his stats here. We can also take a look at Wealthy Man over on the side of Cloud9, what his stats are currently over there. 88% play rate, interrupt rate 72%. A couple people were confused about the juke rate also. There's 13% on the side for Wealthy Man here, Ben.
Yeah, I mean,
we have the same glasses.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. That's so weird. I think, yeah. I mean, the 13% juke rate, a lot of the time as like a mage or a warlock, you don't even fake. And like for the most part, you just spam out your spells. If you get kicked on Frostbolt, you poly. If you get kicked on poly, you Frostbolt kind of thing. So a lot of the casters, like warlocks and mages, they aren't just faking all game anymore. It doesn't end up paying off to do so. So yeah, that's kind of why it's on the lower side, but high play rate, high interrupt rate. Wealthy Man, obviously a crucial part of their success, playing both the Frost Mage and the Fire Mage at extremely high level. A little tidbit about Wealthy Man, he's actually the highest rated player in North America right now, playing that Frost Mage, so obviously really, really experienced, solid player. This composition, I feel like they have such a good composition. This Windwalker Fire Mage Paladin is really sort of rising up as a top comp, but for my sticker, I'm going to give up a sticker here. I think I'm going to say I'm going with the Golden Guardians.
You're giving up a sticker? The way you said that, the way you said that is like I'm giving up a sticker, which means you don't think they have any chance of winning, but you're just going to say that.
I do think they have a chance of winning. That's why I'm going with them for a
chance.
sticker. Okay.
Something else cool about Wealthy Man's stats is he had a pretty even win rate on both Fire Mage as well as Frost Mage. I think it was about 74% for Frost, 73% for Fire, something like that. Which I feel like when we look at mages and that Fire Frost comparison, usually they're quite a bit more uneven. Now we can see the compositions here for Cloud9, 89% win rate. That's got to be the highest win rate for all of the teams playing in the AWC currently. I'm not sure though, I'd have to fact check myself, but average dampening 41%. Any takeaways here from our Cloud9 team and their composition, Zico?
Well, their win rate has actually gone down, believe it or not, after that Charlotte Phoenix series yesterday. It used to be, I think it used to be like 92% on them, something like that. But C9, they're the top dog in North America. Wealthy Man, it's the highest rated mage on the ladder, apparently. I'm not surprised to see him able to play all of these specs. You know, he's been a great player for a long time. They've had great synergy, him and Cubsy and Chan. So I'm really not surprised at all to see any of these stats. But there's something that, if you look at the comp card here, you don't see Fire Mage, Windwalker, Paladin. So this is obviously something they have been playing on the ladder, but this is something that they're going to be bringing in for the first time here in tournament play. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if this comp can shut down Golden Guardians. The Golden Guardians, they're up, or they're 2-2 right now against C9. They have to win this to even have a chance of staying in the competition.
And we can see Golden Guardians stats as well. 47% win rate, average dampening of 26. More comps here on the board currently for the stats that we've gathered for Golden Guardians here. And I just, look at that the one time that they brought out Jelly for in that composition, the bottom right there with the Demon Hunter. And it's kind of a shame we don't get to see Jelly Beans utilized quite as much on the Golden Guardian Super Tees.
I mean, at the moment they're just Shadow Priest Rogue. I don't. I feel like what is Jelly really gonna? I can't even think of a scenario where they want him. Like, unfortunately, with the way it is, like Rogue Hunter is just not a thing. Shadow Priest Hunter is not comparable to Rogue Shadow Priest. So you know, Jelly's just basically the cheerleader for the team. He's got to keep their morale high moving into Game 5 here. Otherwise, that's it. I mean, dreams are dashed for the year in the AWC if the Golden Guardians don't pull this off. They have played 22 games of Shadow Priest Rogue Shaman in tournament play and 13 games of Shadow Priest Rogue Paladin. So they have many, many more games in tournament as this comp than that of Cloud9. But that's about all I feel like it's going for them. So,
you know what, though? I feel like Jelly Beans has got to be the best hype man. He probably gets these guys so pumped for these games. If that's if that's what he's been doing. But I mean, we talked about it before this series as well. Inside of Cloud9, we don't see Snuts play quite as much. That fourth member, regardless of how long they've played or how often they've played on these teams, I feel like they're always going to be quite a big role in the team as well. Just strategizing. It's always good to have like a fourth perspective of someone that might not be playing quite as often as the rest of these team members here. And you know, regardless of where Hunter is currently at and the compositions that it works with, I feel like Jelly Beans is probably still a super valuable member of the move, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. Super solid player. I would argue he's one of the best hunters. It just, the compositions they have with Hunter just don't make, they're just not good right now, unfortunately. And I feel like I have no doubt in my mind if Jellybeans played with a really good Disc Priest and a really good Feral, that he would be, you know, a top contender in the circuit. So yeah, unfortunately for them, they are going to just have to kind of use him. I don't want to say as a cheerleader, but kind of as a cheerleader, you know, an extra set of eyes to kind of look at the game if it's not going well and give them some input, because sometimes you do need that. Someone who's looking, an outsider point of view, basically, someone who's just watching the games can maybe help you adapt your strategy, give you some input on compositions. And I think Jellybeans overall is just a really, really intelligent player. So yeah, having him there is really, really going to help.
Do they have anyone on their team that can play Feral?
Whiskey played it in the past, but it wasn't the greatest thing. So I'm not sure if that's something. You know, jungle.
No.
Play jungle. That'd be sick. Anyways, this game number 5 here. Pressure is certainly on for both of these teams. 2-2, Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians on Ruins of Lordaeron.
Ruins of Lordaeron. seconds away from starting. Basically 2020 AWC tournament dreams on the line for the Golden Guardians. But even if they lose, it would be a fitting final resting place, as it is a cemetery.
And this is the final time potentially for you guys in the chat to let us know if we have any members of the move right now. I'm pretty sure that they need your help right here. Are they going to have a chance to stay in the competition, or will they be knocked out from qualifying to the next stage? Let's find out.
Find out right now. Let's see what they can get done. Wealthy Man pulling out the combustion very early on. Who are they going after? Looks like Peekaboo going to be taking a little bit of damage. Actually gets grounded. And I feel like Golden Guardians have a decent amount of experience in this matchup. So if the Cloud9 is not experienced in this matchup, it could go in favor of the Golden Guardians. But we'll have to wait and see. Wealthy Man just spamming out some fireballs, playing the combustion build. Full blind now onto Cubsy. Wealthy Man looking to avoid some damage. A nice Dragon's Breath disrupts Peekaboo into a grapple weapon. Good crowd control. Good defensive crowd control by Cloud9, but a full kidney shot lands. And so far, the Golden Guardians are pushing the pace.
Well, let's see if they can keep pushing the pace here. Cubsy crowd controlled. WizKid gets Ring of Peace away from his Psychic Scream. Well done by Snuts. Coming off the bench, but looking fresh here in his second game on Game 5. Coming in exactly when his team needed him on the cusp of defeat. Absurge, though, lockdown crowd control. Oh no, the pathing on the blinding light. It's so unlucky. That Ring of Frost just a centimeter away from hitting Absturge. Now he can run away. He's paralyzed instead to continue the chain. They're gunning after WizK. Trying to pull a dispersion here with a touch of death. They caught in a double leg sweep. That Vitality Conduit, though, right before the Polymorph was clutched by Absturge. One more Polymorph. Not going to really get too much, I think, with one Polymorph, unless they drop the Dressigath here. Cubsy trying to line of sight WizK. Smoke Bomb. WizK in position, trying to intercept Cubsy for a Psychic Scream, but he's playing on the outskirts. They go for a triple stun lock. Hex! Oh, cross crowd control, but Welterman does get an instant dispel. Welterman's still very low on health. Cubsy trades Sacrifice. Respecting the pressure here, not wanting to fall too far behind and having to overextend that defensive lineup. And of course, with Ineffable Truth, it is going to reset a lot more frequently than if Welterman had to use Cauterizer Ice Block. At the moment, the teams are looking evenly matched.
Yeah, and right now, Wealthy Man is in a kidney shot, taking a little bit of damage there, but now it looks like WizK is about to get set up down here. Sheep onto Peekaboo. The Ring of Peace knock it. Wealthy Man was going to land a sheep there onto Absturge potentially, but looks like he got feared on it. Now Hex coming out here onto Cubsy. They got Wealthy Man. He can't dispel it just yet, but he does get the dispel. And then Cubsy gets the counter dispel. Now WizK goes for the disarm into the silence. Big damage coming out here. Cubsy actually has to trinket right there. And that means that Peekaboo has an opportunity to blind Cubsy fully. He could just use his Blessing of Protection there. Wealthy Man's going to use his Combustion here. Nice fade here by WizK, and there it is, full blind. Cubsy's going to pop that one, and that's going to be one bop out of the way. Cubsy has no trinket as well, so it's actually, believe it or not, like a 20-second window where they're going to be able to kill Cubsy without him being able to use Bubble. Highly doubt we're going to see it, but it's there. Still going to be just going for Wealthy Man, it seems, and Snuts just building up the damage here onto WizK. I do want to see Snuts potentially look for swaps onto Peekaboo in about 30 seconds when he gets that leg sweep back. But here we go, triple CC from the Golden Guardians. Nice Hex, nice disarm into the silence. They get the kidney shot onto Wealthy Man. WizK is looking for the fear, but Snuts is just slowing and making it impossible for him to get there. Cubs is just staying on max range, trying to dish out some heals, and it looks like Wealthy Man is going to recover here.
Yeah, it looks like he will be able to hold on, but things aren't looking too bad here for the Golden Guardians. I mean, they still have all the defensive cooldowns. They're the ones pushing in, getting crowd control. Wealthy Man been on the back foot for quite some time, looking for a full Polymorph. Finds it on the WizK. They're going for Peekaboo. He trinkets out. Good paralyzed. Hammer of Justice. Peekaboo might have to trade more. Evasion. Cloak of Shadows. Is he going to do it? The Blinding Light. And they do manage to get the Cloak of Shadows. And now, Wealthy Man, there's going to be Combustion available. There's no Trinket, no Cloak of Shadows on Peekaboo. Absurge is going to have to respond, but definitely Peekaboo vulnerable as this game progresses.
Look at that Ring of Peace. Snuts intercepts WizK. He can't get to Cubsy for a Psychic Scream. Those Ring of Peace have been so clutch by Snuts here in Game 5, disrupting that crowd control chain right when Cubsy didn't have a Gladiator's Medallion. WizK, though, is still pushing for it, getting closer and closer. Cubsy's trying to avoid him, but WizK is relentless with this push towards Cubsy, waiting for Peekaboo to reconnect before going for the Psychic Scream. Peekaboo sets him up, stunning up the whole team, but WizK just can't get there. Cubsy's pushing in for crowd control on Absturge. Who's going to get it first? WizK snipes the Psychic Scream from downstairs on the tombstone. Kidney shot onto Wealthy Man. Absturge not going for the Hex. They're out of line of sight, deciding to just hold back, play it patiently. Psychic Scream not long enough. They go for the Quaking Palm. Do they have a Psychic Horror out of this? They don't. The chain's a little bit disjointed here from the Golden Guardians. Now the Psychic Horror into the silence. They really need to get a Cauterize with this push. Peekaboo's in trouble. Stunned up. Big burst from Snuts with that Whirling Dragon Punch. Peekaboo going to feint it, but his healer is still crowd controlled. Fortunately, Absterge did pre-earthen wall that entire assault. Nice read by Absterge, anticipating this extended crowd control chain, but Peekaboo doesn't feel too safe. He's going to use evasion as well. Snuts is going to switch targets back to WizK. And once again, these teams look so evenly matched, but I would say that Cloud9 are establishing a lead. Look at Absterge's mana.
Yeah, it's looking good so far for Cloud9. They have all of their cooldowns as well. They're going to have that bubble. Peekaboo's going to just use his blind as well. Cubsy has his trinket for it lined up. And now, full sheep onto Absterge. WizK is in a little bit of trouble. He knows it. He activates the fade. Wealthy Man is in a kidney shot. Kind of defensive kidney shot. He blinks the Dressing out there. A little bit unfortunate for Peekaboo. Should have used it a second earlier while he was still stunned. The Slapper is going to proc here onto WizK. Big damage coming in, but Cubsy's silenced as well. Wealthy Man taking a big hit as well. Who's going to fall first? Absterge going for the healing waves. He needs to be a little bit careful, though. Can't waste too much mana right now. Absterge dropping to about 20, 30-ish%. And C9 looks like they're in the winner's seat right now. Full disarm going out onto Peekaboo. And Snuts going to get dispelled from that Hex right there. And Wealthy Man still looking for some CC here. But both teams right now don't really have any real kill opportunities. Here we go. Full blind onto Absterge. Can I get the Ring of Frost? The unlucky pathing again. They do get it, but they overlap with the Hammer of Justice. Big damage coming into the leg sweep here by Snuts. But WizK is going to activate the Fade. The Ring of Peace him actually out of line of sight there. So Absterge should walk all the way around. Excellently done by Snuts. He needs to be careful. Drestigath could come out here, WizK. On match point, but he is going to hold on because of that Vitality Conduit, and Golden Guardians stay alive.
Yeah, Golden Guardians stay alive, and I mean, it can't be understated how important this match is for the Golden Guardians. If they lose this, their dreams are going to be over, and they might just lose right now. Polymorph onto Absterge, he trinkets out. That's going to be the Void Shift as well as the trinket from Absterge. Panic mode from the Golden Guardians, definitely not good. They're not out of it yet. I mean, WizK still has his trinket. There still is a Spirit Link, but this is a rough spot for the Golden Guardians to be in. I almost think that they should start pulling back and playing a little bit defensive. Their cooldowns aren't lined up very nicely, but they're going to continue to be aggressive in the match. This could definitely backfire for them. Look at how overextended WizK is, but they're going for it. Hammer of Justice on Peekaboo. Are they making a swap onto the Rogue? It looks like they are going to do it. Wealthy Man getting bursted down at the same time. Temporal Shield going out onto Wealthy Man. WizK gets interrupted. Dragon's Breath on Absterge, and they are swapping over onto WizK. This is the combustion. WizK in a lot of trouble. Here's the Fade, just trying to avoid some of that damage. He gets kicked. It looks like there will be no more crowd control onto Absterge. Immediate Ascendance. Might have to drop the Spearling Totem as well. The Golden Guardians managed to hold on. And Peekaboo just going for Cubsy, and a bit of a hero swap right now, but the Divine Favor should be enough for Cubsy to survive. But all of the Golden Guardian members, they're just chasing after Cubsy. Can they take him down, power through the Avenging Wrath? I think it's unlikely, especially with Snuts peeling Peekaboo right now. The Disarm comes in, Snuts snaring him up, but the full kidney shot lands. Cubsy trinkets, the Golden Guardian, they're just going for it. Can they take down Cubsy? There is a Master Spell available. Keep that in mind. The Silent comes in. Can they get the Divine Shield? Can they get the Master Spell? Are they just going to take down Peekaboo? Peekaboo in a lot of trouble. He trinkets out. He's got the evasion. He has the Cloak of Shadows. Doesn't want to overlap if he can, but they're just going to continue this train onto Cubsy. Cubsy looks like he's finally able to escape and buy just a little bit of time, but such a scary moment. Peekaboo's still not out of it yet. If he has to trade up the Cloak of Shadows, it's going to be an absolute nightmare, but man, this is such a high-pressure game.
I think attacking Cubsy is the right move. You hex the mage on cooldown. You don't go after the high versatility targets. It's do or die. At this point, it's dire straits. They need to kill Cubsy. Peekaboo Shadow steps in to finish it. WizK's cleaving down Wealthy Man. Maybe WizK can snipe out Wealthy Man while Peekaboo pressures Cubsy. This is looking way better right now for the Golden Guardians, despite being so massively behind. If they can keep this momentum, the strategy change at 9 minutes in, right when everything was looking so horrible for the Golden Guardians, they might be able to pull off a miracle. Triple blinding light, though, by Cubsy. They're looking to deny the kill. Absterge trinkets. He drops the link. He links to Poly. He breaks himself out. And now breaking that crowd control chain, what are their options? A Divine Shield, 2-bop, 1-sack, Avenging Wrath Paladin, a Cauterize Ice Block Mage, a Karma Fort Brew Monk. I mean, all the defense is there for Cloud9. They're working with such a limited amount of mana, a limited amount of time. They just had to use Dispersion. It does at least trade for the Touch of Death. They're dropping the side fiend. They're desperate. WizK's moving in onto Cubsy, trying to get crowd control. If they don't get a Master Spell during the chain, he pre-sacks the blind. Nice play there by Cubsy. Wealthy Man trying to get bursted, or not the blind. What was the pre-sack there on? Now a stun lock on the sack, waiting for it to end before going for the Psychic Stream. They're just going through sacks over. Big Dressing got dropped by Peekaboo, trying to pull off the miracle. Temporal Shield ticking away. Big Divine Favor gets blinded. He bops off the blind. They could swap while he's on Forbearance. That might be a big opening. Smoke Bomb, double Psychic Scream. Wealthy Man blinks away, but they're pushing for the caught. Can they get the block here? They're so close. The Golden Guardians are so close. But Cubsy has Avenging Wrath up and big heals, but Peekaboo's pressuring him. Can they do it? Everybody's locked in crowd control. Cloud9 look to close. Combustion gets popped. Huge pressure from Wealthy Man. WizK trying to strip off the Combustion, managing to pull it off there. Side-Fiend's on Wealthy Man. Snut's going to punch it away. Cubsy's Avenging Wrath just came up again. Big Holy Lights. Both teams stabilized, but Absterge has no mana.
Oh, he drops the Mana Tide though. I think he's going to get a little bit of mana here. Dress comes in, foam snuts onto WizK. He has to power through with that big Vampiric Embrace. The Shadowman's coming in, silence, plus the root here onto Cubsy. They need more crowd control. Cubsy's going to get a Divine Favor. He tops Wealthy Man a little bit with it. Here, WizK is so dead here. 5 seconds on the dispersion. No Void Chip, goes to mind control. He doesn't have
3
anything
seconds, 2
here.
seconds,
Couple of more seconds.
1 second.
He's going to get the dispersion off here. Excellently done. Absterge in a full blind. No trinket. How is he going to survive? WizK's going for the fear. Can they do it? Can he turn the thing around here? Wealthy Man can get pressured here, but still WizK is so low here. Absterge finally comes out of the stun, finally comes out of the fear, drops the Earthen Wall Totem, gets the Vitality Conduit, and he is going to keep WizK alive for a little bit longer, but now they need to go. Golden Guardians, can they get the Psychic Scream? They get the Disarm, but no more follow-up, and there's a Sheep here onto Peekaboo. Absterge barely has enough mana to even dispel it. They get a full silence onto Cubsy, and Wealthy Man is taking so much damage. WizK trinkets out of the leg sweep right here, and he's going to go and stack up with Absterge. I think he fades the Touch of Death hit there as well, so WizK really doing anything he can to save Absterge's mana. Absterge in a counterspell, Snuts in a Quaking Palm, Mind Control gets casted out onto Snuts. Absterge, where is the Hex though? He's just going for healing waves, trying to keep his teammates alive, and there it is, full Hex onto Cubsy, but Wealthy Man gets bopped and dispels it, and I don't know who's going to win this game, but it's looking like C9.
This is absolutely insane. Both these teams are playing out of their minds in this game number 5 on Ruins of Lordaeron. Peekaboo getting disarmed. Absterge with no trinket. He does have the Spirit Link. There is the cap, and Snuts is looking to close out the game. They managed to get the Void Chip, but now Peekaboo's in trouble. Cloak of Shadows, he has the evasion. This is such a tense moment, but a full fear now into Cubsy. Wealthy Man, can he live? The silence on the trinket. Great job there by WizK. He has Dispersion coming up in just a few short seconds. I feel like Peekaboo is the best target now for Cloud9. They can make a big swap on Peekaboo with this incoming leg sweep. But maybe they just want to shut down WizK. Kidney Shot onto Wealthy Man. Both these teams are running on fumes in terms of mana, defensive cooldowns, 50% dampening. This game is going to end here very soon here, Sid.
Oh no, the crowd control is engaging. Absterge is locked down. They have to stop Polymorph at all costs. Peekaboo kicks it. He's gunning for the kill. Cauterize triggers. Sacrifices up. Will it be enough here? Divine Favor bombs in. Wealthy Man on the run. Snuts trying to solo WizK here. Will he be able to clutch it out? He grapple weapons. Peekaboo stabilizing Wealthy Man back on target onto WizK. Spirit Link Totem, the last line of defense. They need a 3-player Spirit Link. There's no way 2 players is going to be enough. But the stun locks come in from the Golden Guardians, and what could be the final setup of the game? Silence out of the stun. They need a Master Spell on this Ice Block if they're going to win. Cubsy Divine Shields with the Avenging Wrath. Big heals. They get Divine Shield. They get blocked. WizK's trying to stabilize here. He needs a couple seconds to that Spirit Link. 1 more second to the Spirit Link. Absterge is out of crowd control. WizK fades. They're trying to be greedy, holding on to that as the last ditch effort. They're getting their trinkets back. They're in a winning position. They're in a checkmate position. The Golden Guardians can keep their 2020 AWC dreams alive right here on the next silence. It's up in 20 seconds. Maybe they just win with the bomb. Peekaboo drops the smoke bomb. He's powering in with tons of damage. Cubsy's totally tapped. Absterge is totally tapped. They drop the link. They grip him into the link to get the 3-player Spirit Link clutch play by WizK right before going down. They just need to keep pushing a little bit longer. Wealthy Man blinks in, clutches out a full poly. Absterge trinkets. They drop the rest of guys. Cubsy gets stunned up. Who's gonna fall? This could go down to a 2 versus 2 at this point. Wealthy Man in the kidney. Cubsy's got no cooldown. Snuts in the Hex. Shadow Step kick from Peekaboo off to the side. 1 more second left on the interrupt, but Peekaboo could fall. He fades to 10%. And are they gonna pull it off? Dressing out comes in for Peekaboo, but Peekaboo falls. Can WizK finish the WizK snipes him? We're going into 2v2.
This is unbelievable.
This is just insane. I think this is the first time in the round robin we get a 2v2 here. Whiskey, Cubsy, Whiskey, Absturge versus Cubsy, Snuts. He gets a fear onto Snuts. Whiskey has to use his dispersion. Absturge has the mana lead right now. He has all of his defensive cooldowns, but we are at 58% dampening. Whiskey, he just needs to get some dots up here onto Snuts. Cubsy sitting down for a drink. They can't let him get it. Absturge doing a great job here, keeping him in combat with the Earth Elemental here, but it's not attacking right now. I'm not sure. Whiskey is by himself here, but he has Void Form active, and he's winning the 1v1 against Snuts. Absturge finally going to have that pet now attacking Cubsy. Big damage coming in with the Whiskey. He's going to drop the totem. He gets knocked out of it by the Ring of Peace. Snuts smells blood in the water. If they lose this, the Golden Guardians have no way to qualify for the next stage here of the round robin. They have to try to win right now. They get a full hex. Snuts ports out of there. Whiskey channeling out the big mind flays, and now he's going to look to dot up Cubsy here as well. I don't know who's going to take this 2v2 here, Van.
Oh, I have no idea. 63% dampening. I feel like if Cubsy can recover his mana, it's a winning position for Cloud9. Golden Guardians, WizK and Abs are trying to keep their dreams alive. A fear comes in, Cubsy immediately trinkets it. Snut still has his Fortifying Brew. He has basically everything left. I think Cubsy is probably the best target at this point in the game, but it's really difficult for WizK to get out that damage. Snuts is just beating on him. Fists of Fury. He's got the leg sweep. He's got the spear hand strike, and Cubsy's just line of sighting. Just to buy just a moment of time for Absturge. It does look like he will be able to use the Pandaren Racial onto Snuts, but now WizK pushing in. He may have overextended, and this is looking worse and worse for the Golden Guardians.
Oh, they drop Earthen Wall. I don't think it's enough. I think it's just disperse the Touch of Death. It's going to be a big hit this deep into dampening. Ring of Peace on Absturge's heal. He does disperse it. Gets on top of Cubsy. He's not stopping the drink. He actually got one tick of drink there. WizK's got basically nothing, and Snuts is just tearing in. They triggered out a Blinding Light into a Paralyze. They get Vitality Conduit. Golden Guardians are battling their hearts out here, but this is such a difficult matchup. They hex Snuts. They're desperate. They're just trying to stay alive. 70% dampening. They're waiting for the silence. They're waiting for the psychic horror. What are the opportunities? Divine Shield sacrifice, karma, diffuse. There's way more than enough defense for Cloud9 at this point. They just need to get a little bit more damage out onto WizK. Absturge is working with nothing. Huge hit from Snuts. Where's the Spirit Link? I feel like it's too greedy to hold it. They fear Snuts. They silence Cubsy. They're desperate to try and stay in this. Mind Control in the fist, maybe on the Storm, Earth, and Fire. They grip him close to try and deny the Paralyze, but WizK gets interrupted. Spirit Link in 1 second, but not in time. And Cloud9 dash the dreams of the Golden Guardians. You couldn't ask for this to be any closer.
Absolutely
Wow.
heartbreaking on the side of Golden Guardians. Cloud9 winning that series 3-2, but how incredibly well fought that was from both sides, Ben.
I mean, that was the best series.